defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect yourself and others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
It is 6:08 here at WRMN on a Thursday morning, the 24th day of October. Welcome to Studio 14 in downtown Elgin, where it's time for the first shift. I'm Marky B reporting for duty. And the first shift starts with our Pledge of Allegiance and our national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now it's time for our national anthem. And a good Thursday morning to you from WRMN and from the Fox River Valley Media Network.
Welcome to the first shift, right here on the Voice of the Valley, WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM. Don't get that excited. I'm only introducing Marky B. Exactly. Featuring local news and sports, your Fox Valley forecast, and local traffic twice an hour at 15 and 45 minutes past. Timely interviews, a radio shopping show preview, milestones and memories, and born on dates of the lates and greats. Elgin trivia, and all of your phone calls, texts, and Facebook comments as part of the staff meeting. The First Shift is the most informative, entertaining, and interactive morning show in all of the Fox River Valley and beyond.
You liar!
Well, okay. At least it makes great background noise, whether you're at work, in the car, or at home.
Whatever.
Your host, Marky B, maintains an upbeat attitude every day despite the fact that he's saddled with an overall lack of talent, a delusioned ego, and false hope for a bright future.
Loser.
Yeah, he's pretty much a loser. But at least he tries. Welcome to Studio 14 in downtown Elgin for the first shift on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
.11 on a Thursday morning. Welcome to Studio 14 downtown Elgin, where we're going to have a busy first shift today. Moving them in, moving them out. We got a lot happening here at Studio 14 this morning between now and 6 and 10. Between now and 10, or something like that. We have a dark start to the day, but that's only because it's not daylight yet. We have lights that are providing some light to Douglas Avenue here in downtown Elgin. They are street lights, of course. And we're looking forward to another nice fall day here in the Fox River Valley. I'll tell you all about today's show here in just a few. A chilly start to the morning. Chilliest start we've had here in a week or two, as we are at 36 degrees at the start of the show today. Winds are calm. I hope you are. Got to stay calm today. so we can navigate the waves of this program. Fair skies and 36 degrees, calm winds. Today we're going to turn 36 around and make it 63. Sunshine with a high of 63 on your Thursday. A little rain in the forecast for tonight. There is a 90% chance, so it looks like we are going to get some. I don't know that it's going to be a whole lot, but it looks like we are going to definitely get a little rain late tonight. A low of 49 degrees. And then heading into your Friday, a 30% chance of a shower early, and then cloudy for a little bit during the morning hours, and then gradual clearing. And tomorrow, same as today, a high of 63 on your Friday. Partly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 37 degrees. And then for Saturday, sunshine, high of 57. More sunshine on Sunday, because that's what we do here in the Fox River Valley now. We have sunny days and very little rain. 60 degrees for your Sunday high. It's a good time of the year weather-wise. The air is fresh and mainly dry. A little shower here and there, as in tonight, with a 90% chance of a rain and a thunderstorm. Right now we're at 36 degrees and fair skies and calm winds here on the first shift. 6:14 with a lot to squeeze in. We can't be messing around today. Coming up on the show today, I have guests, and man, I have guests, that's for sure. It all starts earlier than normal, as I'm joined by Illinois State Representative Dan Ugaste, who is based out of St. Charles. He's running for election, and he has been a state representative for a few years now, and he's going to come by the studio at 7:30 or so this morning. We'll have our bottom of the hour news break at 7:30, and then Dan will join me for the second half of the 7 o'clock hour, and we'll talk about the issues as he sees them here in the Fox River Valley, what he feels like he's been able to accomplish, where the state is lacking. And I'm sure you can find a few things in that department to wonder what he's got to say about that, where the state is lacking, what we can do to stop the people from leaving, what he's been doing to try to make things better here in the area. He is a Republican representative, and he's running for office right now. His sign is out there with the other millions of signs decorating the Fox River Valley and beyond. Dan's a good guy, though. He was part of America's First Responders Fest this year. He got dunked in the dunk tank for about half an hour or so. That was his contribution to America's First Responders Fest, but he has contributed to the area, going down to Springfield for a long time and representing us. So we'll have Dan in the studio this morning between 7:30 and 8. Marcus Mack will talk sports with me for a few minutes this morning at about 8:15 or so. Marcus has the truth about Chicago sports, a part of our Saturday Sports Spectacular every Saturday morning here on WRMN. Sports guys rotating in and out between 8 and noon on Saturdays. On the Rise, followed by Marcus Mack's show. And Marcus is trying to work even more people into that 4-hour block on Saturday mornings on the Fox River Valley Sports Network. Marcus will probably just be with me for about 5 minutes on the phone. We'll talk about what he's going to discuss on his show Saturday morning. And they talk a lot of pro sports, Chicago sports. And if he tells the truth, a lot of it is not so positive. The Chicago Bulls lost their first game last night, their first of many that they are going to lose as they continue to bring the same guys back year after year and the same coach back year after year, and they keep on losing. Imagine that. Not sure if Marcus really follows the Blackhawks all that closely, but some of the Saturday morning sports guys do. So maybe we can touch on the Blackhawks, but more than likely we'll talk about football. NFL Sunday, that's the one bright spot in Chicago sports right now. The Bears' progress. They're off to a 4-2 start, and they have a big game with Washington coming up Sunday afternoon. So we'll talk to Marcus about that for a minute at about 8:15. All right, moving on to 8:35 this morning. Lucas Strom is due in. I don't know much about Lucas, so I'm just describing him as a concerned citizen in Burlington School District 301. There's a referendum on the ballot right now. And Lucas says you should vote yes. We had a representative from the other side on with me. It's been a couple of months now. What was her name? Micheline was on with me one morning and was super crisp and all over it as to why it's a bad idea to vote yes. Those on the plus side of the referendum heard what Micheline had to say, and Lucas says, it's my turn. I want to say why you should vote for it. So he is going to stop into the studio this morning. Hopefully, I haven't had any contact with him in the last couple of days. I don't have his phone number, really, but hopefully he has followed through and he will be in the studio this morning at about 8:30. All right, we did speak on the phone a couple of days ago, but that was on the office phone, and we didn't really exchange any other information, so hopefully that'll take place. And then coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, a special show this morning. It's Elgin Mayor Dave Kaptain, Captain's Corner, but we're going to have a great conversation in the 9 o'clock hour with the mayor, City Councilwoman Rose Martinez, and Gloria Valle. Gloria is the niece of Heriberto Ortiz, U.S. Army Corporal Heriberto Ortiz, killed in the Korean War, considered missing in action for 74 years. His remains were identified. And today, his remains are heading to Elgin for a special weekend. Ortiz killed during the Korean War back on September the 22nd of 1950. And he was a member of the East Company 2nd Battalion, 27th Infantry Regiment, 25th Infantry Division. Died during the battle to gain control of Paiduni and Saigon. I'm not sure. I don't know those places, but we'll talk about that. Rose Martinez will be in, and so will Gloria Valle. It should be a special weekend in certain ways here in the area, and conversation will be led by Elgin Mayor Dave Kaptain and myself in the 9 o'clock hour Captain's Corner. So a lot going on. Not only to mention all that, but I got a lot of news this morning too. And I'll have to squeeze a lot of that news in between now and the first guest, because once the guests start coming in, probably won't have a whole lot of time to get back to news. Our first shift staff meeting, we'll squeeze that in this morning too. We're on YouTube at WRMN Radio on YouTube this morning. If you want to join us in the chat room today, you can. I have the Image 360 information line. Becky Blue has sent me some pictures this morning that I can show you. You can send me pictures, and you can comment on the Image 360 information line at 505-926-1410. That's 505-926-1410. Brought to you by Image 360 at 506 Sundown Road, South Elgin. Bold solutions and exceptional support. Image 360. And you can always call the show too at 847-931-1410. And that is what two of you have done right now. Let's touch with a couple of phone calls real quick and then move on with the first shift. 847-931-1410. Let's see who we have here. Good morning. Welcome to the first shift.
Hey, what's going on, Marky B? Downtown Jose. I just want to say good morning. Good morning, first shifters.
Hey, Jose. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Just tired.
Yeah, you sound a little tired.
That's normal, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just called to say I had a good show, and I miss calling and seeing you guys in the morning. So just enjoy your show and have a great day, brother.
Thanks, man. You working today?
Yes.
You work right now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm on my way in.
Oh, okay. All right, man. Well, have a good day at work. Have a safe day, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Good morning, first shifters. Be good, Marky B.
All right, you too, buddy.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. Downtown Jose checking in on his way to work early in the morning time. Out there at the Fisher Nuts factory, I believe, is where he works, out there on Randall Road, John D. San Filippo. Let's see. We have one more phone call at 847-931-1410 this morning. I believe we're going to take it down under. And we're going to say goodbye to Derica. Good morning, Derica. Or good evening.
G'day, Marky B.
How you doing this morning, or this evening as it is in your world?
I'm good. It's a hot day today.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'd like to say g'day to downtown Jose. Hope you have a good day at work too.
Yeah.
And g'day also to Hector Soto, Nini Rose, Jeremiah Haley, and Uncle Boom Boom. I want to know, who is Uncle Boom Boom?
I want to know who Uncle Boom Boom is too. He doesn't come out and visit when I've seen the other members of the family, but he sounds like an interesting character with a name like Uncle Boom Boom. Yeah.
I wonder where you got that name from.
I don't know. So it was a hot day there today?
Yeah, it was. It was a very hot day today.
Well, do you have central heat? You have central heat and air conditioning in the place you stay?
No, I don't have any air conditioning. I've now got insulation inside my roof, but I haven't got any air conditioning yet. I've got 2 ceiling fans, and one that I'm sitting under right now is going at top speed here in my lounge room, and I'm sitting right underneath it.
Oh, okay. Well,
in my recliner.
Got to do what you got to do to stay cool. You're in your recliner?
Yeah.
That's cool. Anything else happening?
Just watching TV and the damn thing's pixelating again. It's on Channel 7, and Channel 7 has been playing up a lot lately, and it's been pixelating again.
I hate it when it starts.
I hate it when it does that.
Yeah, I hear you. You hate that pixelation.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a good, interesting show. It's Australia's Most Dangerous Criminals.
Really?
And it's like a reality show, and like the former prisoners and that were talking about things that happened in the jails, and phones and drugs and everything got passed from onto the prisoners and that, and now it's pixelating. I can't see anything at all except everything's all mixed up.
Well, that ain't no good. You got to use your imagination to watch TV.
So I got other channels I can watch. They come out nice and clear, but Channel 7 used to be good. Now it's playing up on me. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Pikachu caught a bird.
Yeah, really?
He just come in with a bird.
Just now?
Yes, right now. Come here. Pikachu, come here. Naughty, but not just. Oh, Pikachu.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
You got a pixelating TV and a bird in the pet's mouth.
Can you hear him? Can you hear Pikachu meowing?
Yes, I can. Well, you know, those cats got to prove what they catch outside. They got to prove it to Mom.
Yeah, the bird's still alive. Pikachu's sitting on top of it.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I'll let you go get the bird out of the cat's mouth.
Okay. I hope it's not a sparrow or anything, because sparrows here have sparrow lice, and you shouldn't really touch them, because if you touch them, you'll get sparrow lice too. Really?
Is the bird still alive?
As far as I can tell. Not moving, but I'm pretty sure it's still alive. What did you do?
And what did you do? Pick a 2. All right, well, thanks for calling, Derica. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay, bye. Derica checking in this morning, and she's got some business to take care of now. It's 6:27 here at WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN Radio on YouTube. All right, excitement from down under. Cat got the bird. And downtown Jose's on his way to work, and he needs some coffee. He doesn't sound too awake today. Well, we better be awake. It's going to be a busy day today with lots of guests coming into Studio 14. And I think tonight, Dino and I are going to go to Aurora for a little while for a little dinner with Mayor of Hampshire and meet some new people out there. We're looking forward to that. So it's going to be a long one today, but it's a good one. It's a Thursday. We got some sunshine on the way today, high of 63. Well, too late in the game now to play a song before we get to the bottom of the hour news break at 6:30. So let's just stick with it here for a minute. I got lots of news to check in with you with today. Let's see some of what I will be looking at in the next half hour. DeKalb, quite the day in DeKalb yesterday. A suspect was shot by police at a car dealership out in DeKalb yesterday afternoon. And this was after another incident out in DeKalb yesterday where somebody from Rockford, I guess, rolled into DeKalb Township and got into a standoff while holding a hostage inside of a car. Exciting times.
Wow.
Out in DeKalb. So I'll go over those couple of stories for you. What else is happening in the news? Lots. There was a press conference in North Aurora yesterday where it was finally announced officially that Bruce Lindahl was responsible for the death of Kathy Holly, who died in 1979. 45 years later, the press conference was held to announce that it was the serial killer, Bruce Lindahl, who terrorized the area in the late 1970s, especially women in the area, lots of young women. So I'll recap that story. We covered that press conference live, carried it for you live at 12:30 during Out to Lunch yesterday, right here on WRMN. Those stories and much more, whatever I can squeeze in the next half hour. But first, let's see what the bottom of the hour news has for us right now. It is 6:30 on a Thursday, right here on WRMN. Good morning.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan.
Brought to you by Linzette's. A 29-year-old Cook County resident, Darren Lipscomb, facing charges related to bank fraud. According to the Minooka Police Chief Justin Meyer, Lipscomb's legal troubles began after a routine traffic stop last month where he was caught executing an illegal U-turn. During the stop, police discovered checks worth over $3,000 in Lipscomb's possession, which were allegedly stolen from a Missouri bank. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Holly, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Hallie's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Huge challenge on tap for number 20 Illinois football this Saturday afternoon when they visit number 1 Oregon. The Ducks are 7-0, the Illini 6-1. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-100 31-11 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves. And earned Kohl's cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
6:34 on a cool, borderline cold morning at 36 degrees. Calm winds, still dark outside. We'll start to see the daylight in about half an hour. As we wake up to the 24th day of October, it's day 298 of the year here at week 43 in quarter number 4. 10-24-24. That's the score. And now for more, we go to my old school cell phone number at 901-647-1240, where we say good morning to Tony Cool. I had a moment last night over at the Moose Lodge where I decided to text Tony Cool and finally say to TK, Tony Cool, that her staff meeting number has been off for about a week and a half now. And she says, I've had a sinus infection. I've been taking medicine. Hasn't been a fun time. Everything's jarbled and garbled. So she's back on track today. Tony Cool is back on track. And today we have staff meeting number 204 of the year. That's 1161 ACB, 1161 present, 0 absent. And 204 present this year. As we move through another year together here on the first shift, thanks TK for keeping track of that for us. And being the executive secretary of the morning show, the 204th staff meeting of the year. All right, what else is happening? Well, that was my cell phone, but and that's fine. You can always send me a message on my cell phone. I do not mind, but we have most people have transferred over to our Image 360 information line. I was showing you some pictures while Derica was talking to me a few minutes ago. From our Image 360 information line, they were pictures that Becky Blue sent to the Image 360 information line yesterday. Fall in her neighborhood on the near west side. And I'm not sure how much of that you can see on YouTube. I'm only seeing the trees above the roof as I look over at the screen I can see. The screen on the left shows me houses and a car and the grass and everything else, but the screen that I'm seeing on YouTube shows it just a piece of the picture. So maybe I should show that in a small picture instead, and then you can see more of it. But then you see some other stuff on the outside too. Well, I'm learning. It's 6:37 here at WRMN, but thanks for the pictures, Becky Blue, and we'll keep showing pictures. What you notice around your neighborhood, around town, at the grocery store, wherever you go, see something interesting, take a picture of it and send it to me, and we'll show some pics here on the first shift as we try to cover the Fox River Valley and Kane County. If it's snowing, maybe we can get some good snowy pictures this winter time. Will it snow this winter time? Who knows? It doesn't seem to snow around here that much anymore, but then again, just when you say that, we could have a very snowy winter. You never know. 6:37 here at WRMN. Good morning to Linda Carter. I'm talking about Linda Carter, Linda Carter, Linda Carter. Whoosh! Linda Carter checking in, sending 18 prayers to our prayer scoreboard this morning to get us started. LC. Originally from Jackson, Tennessee. God bless, keep the faith, that says Linda Carter. We got Blackhawks Brad checking in. BHB. And the word of the day, which I have not written a haiku yet, is tardigrade. Slow in pace or movement. Tardigrade. Let's win this day, says Blackhawks Brad. The American flag flies, the eagle flies over the fabulous Fox River, and prayer number 19 from Blackhawks Brad this morning. Well, if I get a chance, I'll try to write a haiku. If not, maybe I'll have to save the word for tomorrow. Slow in pace or movement, tardigrade. Have not seen that word before. Thanks for checking in, Blackhawks Brad. South Elgin Chris checks in. That's the Sultan of South Elgin as he rebranded himself a few months ago. Good morning, Mark and the WRMN shifters. At a customer's office yesterday, that's where the Sultan was, and next to it was an Army-Navy surplus store. And this fella was the greeter at the store, says South Elgin Chris. As show and tell continues, there's a picture of a cat. A picture of a kitty cat shown by South Elgin Chris. Thanks for the picture, South Elgin Chris, continuing his travels. 6:39 here at WRMN. Becky Blue says she'll send some more pictures later. The trees are turning in her neighborhood. Most of the leaves are still on the trees, but they're starting to fall. And I imagine with the fallish kind of few days we have coming up, a little rain tonight, at times we'll have some breezy conditions and the leaves are going to become weaker and they'll start to fall at a more fast clip out of the trees. Also on our Image 360 information line this morning, we say good morning to West Side Freddie. He checks in early today. Welcome to the Beehive Bar and Grill, says West Side Freddie, otherwise known as WRMN Radio on YouTube. Thanks for kicking it with me, Marky B, as West Side says. Getting through a Thursday, interviews should be interesting, says the West Side, and he sends 4 prayers to our prayer scoreboard. West Side Freddie. We have 23 on the prayer scoreboard this morning. Let's head to YouTube for just a moment now and see what you've got for us early on YouTube today. WRMN Radio on YouTube. The Big Boss Man checked in early. He says, good morning, Marky B and First Shifters. Have a great day from the Big Boss Man, who sends us 15 prayers this morning. Hector in the fam checking in. Hey, Hector. Derica says hi to you, Hector Soto, however she says it. Good morning, Mark and the First Shifters, from Hector, Ninny Rose, Jeremiah, and Uncle Boom Boom. Raising the roof all up in the house today, sending 3 prayers and 3 thumbs up. Captain Keith, senior engineer, Elgin High, class of 1978, back when life was great. I was 8. And Bruce Lindahl was terrorizing the Fox River Valley back in 1978. Rose Martinez was graduating from Elgin High School. She'll be in as my guest later on this morning in the 9 o'clock hour with Mayor Dave Kaptain. We're going to talk about the big day that starts, a big weekend that starts for Heriberto Ortiz. And And for Gloria Valle, for veterans all around the area, as a Korean War veteran, MIA, 74 years. His remains will land at O'Hare today, and he will be coming through Elgin on the way to Simmons Madison Funeral Home late in the day today. I'll give you a few details here when I get a chance, but we'll have a lot more time to give some details about all of that this morning during Captain's Corner in the 9 o'clock hour. Next hour, it's Dan Ugaste checking in, State Representative Dan Ugaste, one of many right now running for election. Dan's already in office, and he's been solid, and he's been representing the area as a state representative out of St. Charles. And we'll see what he's got to say about the way things are going right now, locally, maybe nationally, and what you can do and what he can do to make them better. 6:43 here at WRMN. A couple of more comments on YouTube. Becky Blue says, have an awesome day with plenty of sunshine, as she sends us about 20 rays of sunshine to the imaginary sunshine scoreboard this morning. Dennis D. Not So Young, the Nightmare on Elm Street, checking in. Good morning, First Shifters. Have a great day from the Nightmare. Dennis D. Not So Young, who also sends us about 10 prayers. The prayer scoreboard's off to a big start today. We have 51 prayers on the prayer scoreboard already. Dynamite Denise checks in. Good morning, all First Shifters, and you too, Marky B. Dynamite Denise piles on. And she sends a few rays of sunshine to our imaginary sunshine scoreboard. Maybe we need to get a real sunshine scoreboard. We might need the rays of sunshine come winter time. We might have to have them artificially produced, since the regular sunshine might be lacking on many days in the coming months. We got to make our own sunshine. 6:44 here at WRMN. Hector Soto says, good day, Derica. From all of us, have a wonderful evening down under in Australia. The mayor of Hampshire checks in, Mike Reed. Mike says, good morning, First Shifters. Have a great Thursday. Look forward to seeing you later, Mr. Mike Reed. And maybe we can touch base this afternoon just to make sure everybody's on the same page with us going to the right place at the right time and all that. Somewhere in Aurora. What's the name of the place called that we're going to? Two Brothers Roundhouse or something like that. 6:45 here at WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN Radio on YouTube. You know, I go west. That's why I end up in Hampshire sometimes. I go north. So sometimes I'm like in Dundee. Maybe if I'm really stretching it out, I'm in Algonquin. I go south. I'm in St. Charles and Geneva sometimes. Try not to go east too much. Although we will be going east on Sunday over to Dino DeLaley's house for Larry Jones's farewell party. 12:20 on Sunday. Be there or don't be there. But we'd like you to be there Sunday afternoon to salute my partner Larry Jones, retiring officially from the radio show next Wednesday. Larry won't be 100% gone. We'll check in with him every once in a while, but he won't be here 3 days a week anymore like he's been for so long. And Dino lives at 6 North 165 Circle Avenue in the Roselle area, Medina, Roselle, depending on what your phone tells you when you put that address in. 6 North 165, basically just a few blocks off of Route 20 or Lake Street if you head east from Elgin. I was talking about going south. Now, sometimes I go to St. Charles, Geneva, stretching it when I'm in Batavia. So really, I'm not in Aurora ever. That's why I don't know exactly where I'm going tonight. But we look forward to the dinner. Dino DeLaley and myself going to ride out there and have a good time and meet a few new people that we're trying to network with as we extend our coverage here in the Fox River Valley as a radio station. WRMN, celebrating 75 years. And meeting new people all the time as we become a full community-oriented radio station. Thanks for checking in. Mayor Mike Reed from Hampshire today. We'll finish for now by saying good morning to No Nickname John. He says, good morning, first shifters. It is National Kangaroo Awareness Day. Can a kangaroo jump higher than a house? Can a kangaroo jump higher than a house? Of course. Houses can't jump. Houses can't jump.
Please be quiet.
This needs to stop now.
Shut up!
No Nickname John. I don't know about that one, John. I think I'm only going to give you a 5 today. My grading scale is a little tougher on this Thursday morning. Only a 5 for that one on a 1 to 10 scale. John has achieved 1-8 so far this week, though. Thanks for the bad jokes and bad puns. Every day, No Nickname John. 6:48 here at WRMN. All right, let's get into a few news stories here. It has been a busy time in the news the last couple of days, and I want to at least work a few in here before we hit the top of the hour. First, we start, let's see, where should we start? Our news guy is covering what took place in North Aurora yesterday. At a press conference, the North Aurora Police Department announced the resolution of the 1979 cold case murder of Kathy Holly. Her name looks like it's spelled Haley. Kind of. Hallie. It looks like Hallie. Halle. But I was listening to the press conference yesterday as we covered it here on WRMN, and they kept saying Holly, so I guess Holly's the way to pronounce that family's last name. After more than 4 decades, investigators have identified serial killer Bruce Lindahl as the individual responsible for her death. March 29, 1979, Holly, at 19 years old at the time, left her home on Volks Court in North Aurora to pick up her sister at Northgate Shopping Center in Aurora. She never arrived. Weeks later, April the 24th of 1979, Holly's body was discovered in the Fox River. Despite extensive investigative efforts, the case remained unsolved for a long time. 2019, 40 years later, the Lisle Police Department's investigation into the murder of Pam Moorer led to a breakthrough when DNA linked Bruce Lindahl to the crime. Lindahl, already identified as a serial killer, became a key suspect in several cold cases, including that of Kathy Holly. By 2020, North Aurora Police Department, collaborating with the Lisle PD and other agencies, reopened Holly's case and sent old evidence for further testing using modern DNA technology. In August of 2024, this year, DNA labs confirmed that DNA found on Kathy Holly's clothing was 9.4 trillion times more likely to have originated from Bruce Lindahl. With this definitive evidence, patterns from Lindahl's known crimes along with it, the North Aurora Police Department concluded that Lindahl was responsible for Holly's murder. It's believed that on the night of her disappearance, Lindahl was able to abduct Kathy in the parking lot of her apartment complex. He then drove her to the area of the Fox River, where her body was discovered April the 24th of 1979. Lindahl died in 1981 while committing another murder in Naperville, stabbed himself to death. So that was a press conference held in North Aurora yesterday. Let's see. What time is it? It's crime time. Crime time here on the show. You may have heard me read this story on the air yesterday as part of my newscast that I bring you during the day and during the evening here on WRMN. But this one that I'm going to read here has a few more details that I couldn't include in the newscast because, well, you only have so much time in those short newscasts. But a Naperville man is now going to be detained, thankfully, pre-trial on charges of aggravated cruelty to an animal and endangering the life or health of a child. DuPage County Judge Joshua Deeden made the ruling Wednesday about Nathan Gonzalez, 36 years old, of South Whispering Hills Drive in Naperville. Gonzalez is accused of telling his two stepchildren on September the 29th he was going to kill the family dog. And then he did, after a dispute with their mother. Deeden also ruled that Gonzalez be detained on unrelated domestic battery charges, where he was accused of hitting his wife twice with a baseball bat, October the 2nd. Reading about domestic violence all the time these days. Seems to be happening more and more violently all the time. Nathan Gonzalez, 36 years old. The charges allege that at 3 a.m. September the 29th, Gonzalez told the children, ages 11 and 14, he would kill Rocco, a Shih Tzu, and dispose of the dog at a construction site. The 14-year-old called police at 6 a.m. saying Gonzalez told them he did kill the dog and was threatening to kill her and her sister, too. According to a prosecutor's petition to have Gonzalez detained pre-trial. The 9-pound dog was found at a construction site the next day. The dog died of blunt force injuries to its head. Aggravated animal cruelty is a detainable offense under the Illinois Pretrial Fairness Act. According to the petition, Gonzalez and the children's mother, who were in a relationship, had been out socializing in Chicago and got into an argument. They left in separate Ubers. Gonzalez pled with her to come home via text, and they texted back and forth. In one text, prosecutors presented in court, Gonzalez is alleged to have texted, "I don't want to kill the poor bleeping dog that's home right now because I'm angry at you. He doesn't deserve this bleep." According to the text chain, the woman then replied, "Kill everyone there. I don't care." So now the children are in custody at the Department of Children and Family Services. These charges were filed against Mr. Gonzalez on Monday. Earlier this month, he was charged with misdemeanor domestic battery. At 11 p.m. on October the 2nd, he hit the woman twice with a baseball bat, took away her car keys and cell phone, thus preventing her from calling for help. So Gonzalez, a dangerous man and a bad man, allegedly, and he will at least be detained pre-trial now. 36 years old of Naperville. Animal cruelty and beating his spouse, basically. 6:55. So a lot of shenanigans in the DeKalb area yesterday, and I'll cover a few of those for you next hour. I generally get into some first shift 411 at about 7:15. Maybe I'll mix a little news in since we're so strapped for time this morning. We have Dan Ugaste coming in at 7:35 to join me right after the bottom of the hour news at 7:30, and then we're going to talk to a man by the name of Lucas Strom at 8:35 to talk about a referendum on the ballot in Burlington Central. Lucas says you should say yes to the referendum. We'll find out why he says that. And then Captain's Corner this morning, a busy 9 o'clock hour talking about a local hero, or a hero from Batesville, Texas, from the Korean War, whose remains are being buried here locally. That's in the 9 o'clock hour today. And we'll also get a recap on what happened at the City Council meeting last night here in Elgin. 6:56, time for one phone call before we hit the bottom of the hour news. I think she might be coming back for more from down under. Good morning. Welcome back to the first shift.
Hi, Marky B.
Hey.
I haven't caught the bird yet. It went behind my big freezer, and I can't get at it. It's a tiny little grey bird. It's still alive as far as I know.
What's the cat doing with the bird? Still has it in its mouth?
I don't know where Pikachu is, but I don't think he's got it in his mouth because I hear it chirping.
You hear it chirping?
But, no.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Yeah, so I don't know what's happened. It's behind the freezer. Maybe it's thinking it's safe there behind the freezer where Pikachu can't get at it.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, thanks for the update. I hope it all solves itself, and you can help remedy the problem so you can get some rest before you call Matt's show.
I hope so too, and I'd like to say good day to Linda Carter too.
Okay.
I think she said hello to me the other night. I think it was her or someone. That him. Say good day to Linda Carter. And Brendan didn't say hello to me yet.
He didn't?
No, I asked him about the Oreo flavored Coca-Cola, and he didn't even give an answer.
Huh. Brendan, come on, man. If Brendan's listening, Derica says good day to you, too. And she wants you to reply. Please. All right, Derica, thanks. We're going to hit the bottom of the top of the hour break here, but have a great day.
Okay, you too, and everyone there is listening.
All right, sounds great. Derica checking in from Australia this morning. And she's got a little dilemma with her cat has brought a bird into the house to have a little fun with. All right, we're going to hit the top of the hour news break in just a moment, and then we'll get into some first shift 411 and maybe a little more news and a little more of our staff meeting before State Representative Dan Ugaste stops in. Busy morning. It's a Thursday, October the 24th, 36 degrees, headed for a high of 63.
In our household, we put family first. I'm Dan Ugaste. Right now, Illinois families are suffering with rising property taxes and grocery bills, along with communities that are left safe. Keeping family members from moving out of Illinois isn't easy. As your state representative, I'm working to be a voice of reason in a time of extremism. That means I'm focusing on the issues that unite us, bringing down property taxes, creating opportunities, and controlling government spending. I'm Dan Ugaste, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Citizens for Dan Ugaste.
Dine out with family and friends at Nick's Pizza in Elgin or Crystal Lake. Nick serves up award-winning thin crust and Chicago-style pizza. Eat in or carry out. In addition to Nick's fabulous pizza, let Nick's cater your events with pizza, pasta, Italian beef, and other delicious offerings. Their big banquet rooms can accommodate all your event needs. So, for great pizza in a Northwoods, cabin-style atmosphere, bring family and friends to Nick's. Visit nickspizzapub.com.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 7 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Brought to you by Linzette's. Elgin authorities are investigating a shooting incident that occurred on Tuesday evening at around 6 p.m. on Pegwood Drive. Officers arrived at the scene in the 1100 block after reports of gunfire were made. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported. The Elgin Police Department urging anyone with information to come forward and assist with the investigation. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Halle, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Halle's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl. In a move towards sustainable development, Kane County introducing its fourth public electric vehicle charger at the Kane County Division of Transportation on Burlington Road in Campton Hills. The move marks another milestone in the county's commitment to enhancing electric vehicle infrastructure.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex styles. Offers in October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Searching for a financial partner that truly has your best interest at heart? Join KCT Credit Union, where they're more than just a bank. They're a not-for-profit financial cooperative. KCT members are owners, meaning profits go back to you in the form of lower loan rates, higher savings rates, and fewer fees. Experience personalized service that puts you first. Become a part of KCT, where your financial well-being is their top priority. Visit kctcu.org. Each account insured up to $250,000 by Member's Choice. This institution is not federally insured.
From morning coffee to your evening commute, WRMN 1410 AM is here for you. The faithful friend that brings you local news, timely topics, and the friendliest voices in the Valley. Stay informed, entertained, and engaged with our full lineup of shows, streaming all day, every day at WRMN1410.com or on the WRMN app. Wherever you are, we're right there with you. So why switch stations? Stick with the one that has it all. WRMN 1410 AM, your daily companion, your constant conversation.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-111 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. DeJounte Murray had 14 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in his Pelicans debut. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14. Up next for the Bulls, they visit Milwaukee on Friday night. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
By popular demand, Universal Circus is in Chicago for an extra 2 weeks with a Halloween spooktacular. Scary monsters in the haunted lobby, spine-chilling surprises, and cash prizes for the best-dressed kid. And this weekend is Kids Free Weekend. Buy an adult ticket and get a kid's ticket for free. Make the short trip to Chi-Town for shows until October 27th. Be there if you dare.
There's a hidden gem in Elgin's South End. It harkens back to the days when going to a diner with family and friends was where everybody gathered for a delicious breakfast or lunch. Ray's Family Restaurant at 801 St. Charles Street in Elgin is a diner that you'll love with tasty food. The atmosphere and the staff are friendly and fast. They're open until 3 p.m. daily. You can never go wrong with Ray's. Visit raysfamilyrestaurant.com. That's raysfamilyrestaurant.com.
For a little lighthearted lawlessness on Sunday afternoons, listen to Handle on the Law from 4 to 7 p.m. Handle on the Law is a unique combination of useful legal advice and outrageous Handle remarks. Whether you're talking about Big Brother, big business, big legal problems, or Big Macs, you'll rarely find Bill without an opinion. His rapid-fire commentary gives listeners the information they crave in the way they crave it. It's Handle on the Law, Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Big opportunities don't wait for the winter meeting season. Stay in the know now with Compeer Financial's Agri-Mindset webinars, where industry experts bring you the latest in ag, and you don't have to leave the farm to listen in. Join us August 21st at 1 o'clock for an in-depth hour on navigating technology investments to benefit your farm in today's market. Sign up for Compeer's next Agri-Mindset webinar at compeer.com/register. Compeer Financial is an equal credit opportunity lender and provider. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
As the Elgin Police Department continues to participate in the Distracted Driving campaign, they wanted to share some tips from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website regarding safe driving. If you are expecting a text or need to send one, pull over and park your car in a safe location. Once you are safely off the road and parked, it's safe to text. Designate your passenger as your designated texter. Allow them to access your phone to respond to calls or messages. Do not engage in social media scrolling or messaging while driving. Are you struggling not to text and drive? Activate your phone's Do Not Disturb feature or put your cell phone in the trunk, the glove box, or the back seat of your vehicle until you arrive at your destination. Remember, the Elgin Police are conducting directed patrols to enforce distracted driving violations. Just drive and stay safe. A message from our friends at the Elgin Police Department and your friends here at WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
.709 here at WRMN on a Thursday morning. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to more of the show. Daylight starts to make its way upon us, and it's going to be another nice fall day here in the Fox River Valley as we head for a high today of around 63 or so. And as we start this hour of the show, we are currently sitting with a temperature in the mid to upper 30s. Let's see, 34, so we've dropped actually 2 degrees. Fair skies and 34 degrees right now. Winds are calm as we head for a high of 63. Rain in the forecast for late tonight for at least a little while. Don't think it's going to be anything that's too long lasting, but we might get a little downpour tonight. A 90% chance of rain tonight. A low of 49, so we're going to stay considerably warmer, if you will, than we were last night. Tomorrow, a slight chance of a morning shower early during the first shift, and then cloudy through mid-morning, and then some sunshine returns as the day unfolds tomorrow with a similar high temperature to today of about 63. Partly cloudy skies and 37 degrees tomorrow night. Saturday, sunshine with a high of 57. And Sunday, sunshine with a high of 60. So, nice fall weekend in store here in the Fox River Valley. A little bit of rain tonight, and I guess we can always use some rain, especially at nighttime. Fair skies and 34 degrees right now. 10 past 7 here at WRMN. Thanks, everybody, for chiming in on as a part of our staff meeting today. Dad and son do it all. Check in. That's Northwest Wes and Northwest Wesley Jr. II. They say happy Thursday, everyone, from Junior II and myself, all of our best. Sending a couple of peace signs via emoji today. And all of our first shifters who chime in every day are a part of our staff meeting, of course, and it's brought to you by Comfort Keepers of Elgin. Comfort Keepers, bringing you the call to order every day here on the first shift.
And we're back with WCK, Comfort Keepers Radio. So, Julianne, what got you interested in Comfort Keepers?
Mom passed. We were concerned about Dad being alone.
And Phil, what's it like to have a caregiver around?
Well, it's great. They help me get ready for the day and drive me wherever I need to go.
And I heard you guys are cooking together, too.
I'm learning.
It's been a huge relief knowing someone's there.
Learn more at comfortkeepers.com.
There you have it from Comfort Keepers. Their highly trained and dedicated caregivers can help your loved ones stay in the comfort of their home for as long as safely possible. A dream come true for many elders. So find out more about Comfort Keepers and give them a call. Phone number here locally is 847-215-8550. 847-215-8550 for Comfort Keepers of Elgin. Several locations here in the Chicagoland area. 712, as we take it back to YouTube for just a moment here and see what else is on your mind. No Nickname John checked in with a bad joke of the day. Hector sends 15 more prayers to our building prayer scoreboard today. Good to see Haley and Jeremiah on their way to school. Ninny Rose was driving the car yesterday morning as they pulled by the radio station for a minute. We're on Douglas Avenue in downtown Elgin, about half a block north of the Tower Building. And we continue to work on our community center, which should be a fun place to come hang out with us in the future as we continue to develop or redevelop this radio station we're rebranding it. The station since 1949, celebrating 75 years. CK checks in. Comforting Kathleen, she's around in the community center right now. She brought some apple fallish flavored donuts in this morning. And she says, good morning, Mark, and all the first shifters. Have a fantastic and safe Thursday. Stay safe so you're not called out. Comforting Kathleen checking in with 8 more prayers for our prayer scoreboard. We are already up to 89 prayers on the prayer scoreboard. It is 7:14, and look who we have on YouTube this morning for the first time in a long time. Pump Handle Phil. Remember him? Pump Handle Phil checks in. At 6:48 this morning, he checked in. He says, after many months, here's your old pal, Pump Handle Phil, touching base. I think it's been more than months, Pump Handle Phil. It only seems like months, but it might have been a couple of years since we've heard from you. Hope all you first shifters are thriving. All good here in the world of Pump Handle Phil. First Shift Sherry introduced him to the show a couple of years ago. Time away hasn't gone for naught. I tuned my banjo, says Pump Handle Phil.
Wow.
Excellent news, man. Congratulations. 7:15 here at WRMN. Cartman Dan checks in from Bloomingdale this morning. He says, Cartman Dan here. Good morning, everyone. Wow, Dino lives 4 minutes away from me. Really? Are we going to get to meet you on Sunday, Cartman Dan? Cartman Dan fishes out in the Bloomingdale area every day, and he has, I guess, put in Dino's address at 6 North 165 Circle Avenue off of Route 20 in that area. Roselle, Medina, Bloomingdale. They all kind of come together for me because I don't go east. But Cartman Dan, maybe we'll see you on Sunday if you can pull yourself away from the lake for a minute. 7:15 here at WRMN. Ninny Rose says, good morning, Derica. From Ninny Rose, she yells it to us in all caps today. And she says, let's have a blessed day. All right, 7:16 here at WRMN. I was listening to Talk Time with Tammy yesterday afternoon, as I do quite often from my desk as I'm working later in the day. Tammy's on with her friends from 2 until 4 every day right here on WRMN. And suddenly, out of nowhere, on Talk Time with Tammy, there was a phone call at 847-931-1410. And the phone call came from this guy, Trusty Pat, who joins us here on the first shift right now. Hey, Pat.
Hi. I was going to mention that because of election time, because of what's been going on with election stuff and catching a guy with guns, and my goodness sakes, you can't make this stuff up. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd mention, and you probably were aware of this maybe, that the fact that 7 years ago during my last campaign for township trustee, we had a number of our election signs stolen, some of our big 4x4s.
Yeah.
And there was, I can't remember, 7 or 8 or 9. It was a good quantity because we had 100 out, and it's like all of a sudden I'm going by and it's like, where'd that sign go? The sign's missing.
Yeah.
But the stakes were there. And then other people were mentioning they were having campaign signs missing. And so an individual, I don't want to mention his name. He's got some problems, and he's stolen about 100 campaign signs. Not only it was kind of, he didn't have any rhyme or reason. He was just stealing all of them. It wasn't like he was against any one particular thing. And as I mentioned, he came up to he'd been attending to our township meetings, and he came up to me a number of times and said, I think you're really doing a good job. And I go, well, thanks. Anyway, it was most strange, but I said to him, if you would have only taken the stakes out, too, that would have helped us, because we got all of our signs back. He was reported by somebody, and the Elgin police went and investigated and found all these just a plethora of campaign signs out behind his garage. So
yeah, it
was quite amusing. And when they ran a story that had happened somewhere out east, I believe, and so I thought it was kind of interesting. Marky B, and it's when you get into these things like that and stealing campaign signs, I know they're aggravating when you're on the other side, but you just gotta let it go. And back when we first ran for township trustees back 20-some years ago, there were no campaign signs out at the polling places like there are now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, township buildings got them littered all over the grass, and
it literally drove our road commissioner Rick Burns at the time, drove him nuts, and it did all of us. And we were we went to the Illinois Board of Elections. This isn't right, and found out that they can. And it happened with a particular I want to say a candidate for legislature on the east side of Elgin started this whole thing. Nobody else did it. Then Vern Tepe started it, and we had a few others that they just literally put hundreds of signs there, and I think it made the Daily Herald, the picture of the Daily Herald once. But it is aggravating, and people just got to bear with it. I know you may not be for your candidate, where the signs are, and it may be your next door neighbor, but what bothers me is my pet peeve is sitting in a public right of way. The signs in the public right of way, I just cannot stand that. And I think we as Republicans back then, we pretty much monitored all of ours to make sure they were in correct locations. But certain other people didn't. So I mentioned too, I didn't let people just take my sign and say, put it in for me. Maybe it's just a few, but I tried to put in all my own signs to make sure they're all legal.
Yeah.
So
any sign that's in the ground between the sidewalk and the street is in a bad place, right?
That's usually correct.
Yeah.
Usually correct. I'd say about 90% of the time correct. There may be some sidewalks back in, but any public right of way, a certain amount of feet from the center of the road. Township road commissioner would be able to. He's got the exact on that. I don't know what that is. I think it's 50 feet, something like that. But the campaign signs have to be 75 feet from the front door of the election voting place. And man, I'm telling you, I wish they changed it to 100. We wouldn't have those signs in this township like that.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
it is, and I'm sure you as a trustee, you don't like it. I mean, it's a littering of our building and our, we got a nice new electronic sign at the township. You guys did a good job getting that in, and it's a good sign, and it's got everything littered around it. So
right.
That's my comments for the morning.
Well, thank you, Pat. Appreciate the phone call, man.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Have a great day. Trustee Pat checking in. He was an Elgin Township trustee for a long time, thus one of the reasons that I call him Trustee Pat. 721 here at WRMN. Yeah, I mean, you have these fundraisers so that you can try to raise enough money to give yourself a chance to win. If you're running for local office, and that comes in the form of getting walk cards printed out, some signs made, and maybe you launch a little text campaign. Do what you can do to try to give yourself a chance to get your name out there enough to maybe have people become familiar with your name, and then they learn a little bit about you. So that's the thing about stealing signs. They cost money, and people have to design them, and you work to try to get all that stuff in your favor to give yourself a chance, and then you notice your sign's missing. That's very frustrating. 722 here at WRMN. I believe that was a Mr. Hop, Randy Hop. I believe that was the guy that Pat wouldn't mention his name a few years ago. Maybe he was just a campaign sign collector. 723 here at WRMN. Early voting, I hear it's hustling and bustling so far. I was at the township building for a minute yesterday, and I talked to Jeanette Mahalik, who works hard every day. I think she practically lives at the township building. And she said the first 3 days of early voting had been crazy hectic, with lines at the polling place at the Elgin Township, which during early voting, you don't usually see lines. So I'm not sure if that means everybody's voting early or everybody's voting, period. We hope that's the case, that everybody is voting, period. But unofficial count of about 800 people apiece each of the first 3 days over at the Elgin Township building, at least. And we hear there may not be any lines out at the Hampshire Township if you are out that way, and you can vote anywhere in Kane County if you are a registered Kane County voter. So if you want to go to a less attended place for voting, then maybe you can go out west a little further and find a Hampshire location. There's the one at the Hampshire Township, which is officially at 170 Mill Avenue in Hampshire, and they're open from 9 to 4 today. Also, the Kaptain Community Center. I'm not sure the lines are quite that long there. That's at 5 North 082 Old LaFox Road in the Kaptain Hills. 9 to 3 today for that. But if you want to go to the township or the Gale Borden Library, the Elgin Township's at 729 South McLean Boulevard. You can probably catch a time when the lines aren't very long. It's actually, I guess, nice to hear that people are getting out to vote. Usually the first few days of early voting, you wouldn't see the big turnout. 9 to 5, the hours over at the Elgin Township. 9 to 5 at the Gale Borden Library at 270 North Grove Avenue in Elgin. 9 to 5 at Carpentersville Fire Station number 93 at 5000 Sleepy Hollow Road. 8:30 to 4:30 at the Kane County Branch Court at 530 South Randall Road. 8:30 to 4:30 at the Kane County Clerk's Office at 719 South Batavia Avenue. And where's the vote-mobile going to be today? Let's see. Today is Thursday. So Thursday, today and tomorrow, the vote-mobile will be at the Jewel-Osco in West Dundee at 1250 West Main Street, West Dundee. Some options for you. And 9 to 1 this morning over at the Elgin City Hall, you can vote at 150 Dexter Court, right here in downtown Elgin. Also, those are some of the options for you right now. It's 7:26. We only have about 3 minutes until the bottom of the hour, and Dan Ugaste's here, so I'm going to grab him during the news break in just a few minutes. So before we get to the bottom of the hour break, let's check in with John Prigge, Director of Shots Fired, who joins us on the show. Hey, John.
Hey, just real quickly, I also suffered the wrath as Mr. Hudgens did. There's nothing more demonstrative than to open up the newspaper and see a picture with a stack of campaign signs, and one of yours is in that stack, and everybody can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, it looked like a house of campaign signs collapsed under a tornado. I mean, they were just stacked and all over, like waiting for the garbage man. The one thing I want to say about signs is, I also share the same thing. I had my sign defaced at 31 and Kimball, and my campaign manager and I found the person who did it. And I can tell you about it later, maybe on another time, where she threw a beer bottle at me.
Really?
So, we caught her. I mean, it just red-handedly. But the one thing to keep in mind, for me, with signs, it shows how many Republicans and how many Democrats there are in the city. And from my perspective, driving the city every day, there's a lot more Democrats than Republicans.
Oh, based on who's got signs in their front yard and things like that, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you only use that factor, maybe people aren't putting Trump signs out because they think they're going to get stolen, or they know this is a blue state. But it was it's an interesting thing to watch the signs and to see what happens to them after the election. And I just wonder who are people voting for? What is inspiring people to vote in these strong numbers than compared to other elections?
Well, probably the state of the economy in a lot of ways, and taxes in the area. People have been affected more in the pocketbook over the last 4 years with inflation, and it's driving people to finally get out and try to do something about it, hopefully.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But there's no local races. I mean, other than the people, there's no council races now until April.
Right.
So, but like James, our friend down in Tennessee, said, politics is his sports.
Right.
So it's interesting to follow. But that was it. Just wanted to say the signs do speak a little bit and show who's actually here.
Yeah, good point. All right, John, thanks for calling.
Have a great show, buddy.
Thanks, man. Take care.
See ya. John
Prigge checking in, former Elgin City Councilman, WRMN's Director of Shots Fired, and more. 7:29 here at WRMN. Yeah, there are signs everywhere. And, it's also interesting, as John said, to see where the signs are, whose signs are in what neighborhood. If you drive around the Neenah neighborhood to the north of downtown Elgin, you really see a lot of Democratic signs, but you do see some Republican signs too. Go out a little further west, it might not be so prevalent on the Democratic side. So you can kind of judge a neighborhood or an area in certain ways, if you want to judge, based on whether it's a Democratic or Republican mindset to that neighborhood. Whatever that means. All right now it's 7:30, and let's check the bottom of the hour news, and then Dan Ugaste, state representative, joins me next here on the show.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Brought to you by Linzette's. A 29-year-old Cook County resident, Darren Lipscomb, facing charges related to bank fraud. According to the Minooka Police Chief Justin Meyer, Lipscomb's legal troubles began after a routine traffic stop last month where he was caught executing an illegal U-turn. During the stop, police discovered checks worth over $3,000 in Lipscomb's possession, which were allegedly stolen from a Missouri bank. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Halle, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Halle's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's Cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-111 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. DeJounte Murray had 14 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in his Pelicans debut. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14. Up next for the Bulls, they visit Milwaukee on Friday night.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Welcome back. It is the first shift here at WRMN on a Thursday morning. Daylight here as we look for a nice fall day. 63, the expected high today. We're at 34 this hour. Kind of chilly out this morning. And the signs are everywhere. It's the political season. And it frustrates a lot of people to see signs everywhere. But only a couple of more weeks, and we will have a new set of winners. And a guy who hopes he's a winner again is Dan Ugaste. He is a state representative from the state of Illinois, and he's taking the time to come in and join us this morning here on the first shift. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you coming in. So you represent the St. Charles area, is that right?
So it starts in Geneva, goes into St. Charles. I have the vast majority, but of course, with the way the districts are drawn, I only get parts of each of those towns. I come up into South Elgin, have about 2/3 of that. I have a good chunk of the southern part of Elgin itself. I move out to Plato Center, a little bit to the west of Route 47, drop down to Elburn, and then back over to Geneva. So Lily Lake, Campton Hills are also in the district.
Wow, so a little bit of a lot of towns then.
Yeah. Well, the only town I believe, or towns completely within the district are Lily Lake and Campton Hills. Other than that, I only have bits and pieces of everything.
Wow. So is your office in St. Charles then?
The office is in St. Charles, right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right on Route 64.
Yeah. Well, Dan Ugaste's with us, and if you want to call us this morning, he'll be with us this half hour. We'll talk about some things, and the phone number is 847-931-1410. If you want to join us, that's 847-931-1410. We're continuing on YouTube this morning. If you have a question for a state representative, you're welcome to join us that way, or on the Image 360 information line at 505-926-1410. I'll pay attention to all of that. So how long have you been? This will be your fourth term you're hoping for, right?
But it'll be my fourth term, right? They're only 2-year terms, so it seems like you're constantly running, which my wife would assure you I am, and she's helping me all the way through all these. But yes, it'll be my fourth term, which sounds like a lot, but at 2-year terms, what you quickly come to learn in Springfield is how little you know when you get there and what you have to learn about how the process works, what the rules are, what you have to do to get a bill advanced and the like in order to be effective in Springfield. So that takes a bit of time. I'd say your first 2 terms, you're spending most of your time doing that, and then you really get a chance to dive in and start trying to make an impact. We talk about
the importance in some roles of having term limits, but when you're rerunning and trying to do it every 2 years, that's a little bit different because you almost want someone who's been in the office for a while to have some experience like you're talking about, right?
It's helpful, and I'll tell you this: I was a strong term limit proponent before I got to office. I'm still a proponent of it. Probably the number of terms for a state representative, I'm a little bit more. I'm probably leaning a little more towards a larger number of terms, probably in the 6 to 8 range most. What's most important, though, is what I've come to learn is how many terms a leader can serve as leader. That's the most important thing because it's leadership under the current set of rules that really runs how Springfield operates. It was Mike Madigan for the longest time, as we all know, and he's currently, he has his own issues he's dealing with right now. And Speaker Welch is the current leader, and the amount of control they have over the legislation that moves, even gets called for a hearing, much less moves to the floor and possibly passes, is really incredible. So that needs to be kept under control because if they're there too long, it turns into really pretty close to absolute power.
Yeah. So you started back in 2018, is that right? And so what got you to become a part of politics? What was your background before getting involved?
So I'm a lawyer by trade. I practice in the area of workers' compensation defense and related litigation, and always had an interest in politics, but never ran for an office before. My first time running was actually 2014 when Representative Tim Schmitz first left the seat or vacated the seat. He retired from the legislature. It was the 65th district then, still remains that, it's just drawn differently now. Lost in that primary to Steve Anderson, who became the rep for 2 terms, but then ran again in 2018. And in a large part, it was each time I just didn't think the state was heading in a good direction. And I wanted to do something. I felt I had some experience from my areas of law, because I think that's one of the areas where we have a lot of problem, which is inhibiting economic development within the state, which has been my biggest focus really while I'm down there. But based upon certain areas of law dealing with employment and litigation and things of that nature, I felt I could make a change or help make a change in Illinois for the better to improve the state. While we protect citizens with our laws and workers and things like that, and we'll always need to, I think we've just gone a little too far in certain situations.
Yeah. So as you're hitting some doors and talking to some people this time around, this is your 3rd or 4th time around now doing this, and so you're meeting some of the same people, meeting some new people, but do you feel strongly that this time around there's been more of an overwhelming response of people that are frustrated with the way things are going? And is that the vibe you're getting when you're going from door to door?
I do. I think that response has been there for a while. I just don't know that their votes have reflected it. People tend to vote for people they either know or possibly have connected with and like sometimes. Now I'm getting the impression, and I will say this, my district I've always felt, and I'm making that statement on a statewide basis, not just the doors I hit, but my district I've always felt the voters tend to be very informed. Because when I first ran, I was a complete unknown. I mean, people in Geneva knew me, some in St. Charles knew me, but no one in South Elgin or Elgin really knew me. While I lived in this area for 30 years and was somewhat active in my community and what have you, just wasn't a known name. But the people in this area are very informed. Their level of frustration, though, I'd say has definitely risen, not just here, but throughout the state. They're really, the frustration's really boiling over, I think.
Yeah. I was over at the Elgin Township building yesterday, and Jeanette, who works over there, told me that they've had about 800 people a day for the first 3 days of early voting, and which is a lot more than they've had in past elections. And so is that a result of, you think more people are voting this time around, or more people are just voting early this time around?
My guess is it's probably a little bit of both, but we never know until it's all said and done. More people are voting early because I think they want to make certain they can get to the polls and that make sure their vote is counted and heard. Oftentimes, and I used to do it all the time in the past, I'd wait until Election Day. I was an Election Day voter, very proud of it, always made it. But there were a couple of times it got close because, my commute was longer than I anticipated. Had to finish something at work, something came up in the family, and other people have experienced this too. I think this time, due to the level of frustration, especially within the state, but somewhat at the national level too, people are making certain they're getting out and voting early, so there is no problem. They're going to make sure they get to vote and their vote's heard.
Yeah. And there's so many more options, which makes it so much more convenient for anybody to step in, spend 10 or 15 minutes there and have it finished with, and not have that hanging in their minds for the whole 2-week period where voting's taking place.
Absolutely. You're right about that. And it's the most important thing we do. Our right to vote is a privilege, and it's just great that we have this, and I'm just thrilled to see so many more people taking advantage of it. I think this is going to be a big election cycle, though, and we're probably going to see very high numbers and maybe record turnouts. I don't know yet.
847-931-1410. We're talking with State Representative Dan Ugaste. It's St. Charles area, but he mentioned all the other towns that he plays a role in representing you, the people. And we have a phone call now, Dan, so you may have to throw the headsets on to hear
all right.
it. Our friend, I think it's my friend Genius George, who's calling in on the show this morning. Hey, George, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. I do have a question for Representative Ugaste. And Dan, I will preface this by saying I'm a lifelong Democrat, but I was privileged to vote for you. I no longer live in your district. I voted yesterday. I live in the 51st now, Nabila Syed. But my question to you, Dan, is this. I'm older than you. I grew up in a different time, a different political time. I grew up in an era, I think, when there was much more political cooperation, a time when, Jim Edgar was governor. He was a great governor, I thought. And this is coming from a Democratic perspective. Phil Rock, when he was when he was in the legislature, Pate Phillips. So I wonder, how would you characterize right now, Dan? Because I know you're cooperative and you're someone, I think, and the reason I voted for you have that ability to reach across the aisle, and I don't see that with all your peers. So I'm wondering if you could characterize that spirit or the importance of cooperation when trying to do things that are best for the state or for your particular district, and working with people that you might not always agree with.
Well, thanks. I appreciate you calling in for the question. Appreciate your vote in the past, too. The level of cooperation probably is not as bad as some people think. We have to cooperate on some level in order to do things in government, and even those people who voters may think never cooperate with anyone do on certain issues that they all think are good policies. They'll vote for a bill. If they're a Republican, they'll vote for a bill a Democrat has, or if they're a Democrat, they vote for bills that Republican has. Now, the level of working together and getting the bill actually passed may not be the greatest for all people on all sides, but there's a certain level of cooperation that has to take place, especially when we pass so many bills with bipartisan support or even unanimously that are just about keeping the government functioning and doing it well. The bigger divide everyone sees and knows about are those big issues where we have wide policy differences. And, some people are a little more willing, it seems, to reach across the aisle, but I think to some extent, some of that has always been there. I think things such as social media and other items have highlighted our differences and make it appear as if we will not work together. I'm not telling you it's all kumbaya. I'm not telling you everything's fair. I can point to the fact that, one side of the aisle in Springfield passed 400 or 500 bills out of the chamber this year, and the other side passed less than 100, as I recall. So, it's not complete cooperation, but we do try to work together. I think it's something that we will keep working on and get back to at the level that maybe you recall. But and thank you for the compliment. I think I'm probably closer in age to you because I remember those times as well.
Yes. Well, thank you, Dan. You're a credit to your career, and you're a good man doing really good things in Springfield and for your district. One quick question, though, too. When you came, you mentioned that, the learning curve, and it's significant. Did you have a political mentor, and if you did, who was it? And then I'll say goodbye.
Oh, geez. I don't want to just give attributes to one person. I had a couple people that helped me out that were very big in it. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm still learning from a lot of different people. There are a lot of very good people in government in Springfield, and we're always looking for more.
Well, how refreshing. Thank you, Dan. Good luck.
Thanks, George.
Bye-bye.
See ya. George checking in, 747 here at WRMN, 847-931-1410. If you want to talk to Dan Ugaste, he's going to be with us for about 10 more minutes or so. Dan, what are some of the most pressing local issues that you are hearing as you talk to the people that you represent right now? And I guess on top of that, what can you do about them as a state representative?
Sure. The three I have to say I'm probably hearing at the door nonstop are property taxes and taxes within the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
Inflation and immigration. And those three issues seem to be on just about everybody's mind. They're what they want to talk about, what they want to know what we're going to do about it. And I'll just start with the first one because for me at least, it's the easiest. It's the property tax issue and taxes in general. I have always advocated that we need to do more with less. And that means we can do more as a government with less in taxes. And if we start peeling back some of our taxes, we can actually grow our tax base, improve our economy, bring more people to the state, and that will just help further lower taxes. It just builds upon itself. I have a bill out there right now that I filed. I took it over last year, but I've been a supporter of it for quite some time. A different Representative Batnick, came up with this bill a number of years ago that actually works this way. It takes and sets aside 25% of state revenue. So we don't have to raise a single tax dollar at the state level. We've seen increasing revenue over the last 6 years at a record I never thought possible. But take 25% of the state revenue, and of that amount, we first make the pension payments we're obligated to make. Always make those, keep those going, because under law, we have to pay those out. Then with the remainder, we take that money and we give it to the school districts on a per pupil basis. In return, the school districts then must lower their property tax levy. And the estimates based upon the last projections I saw were that this would save Illinois taxpayers, both residents and businesses, $82.4 billion over 21 years. That's a significant savings. That's a lot of money back to the taxpayers. And if we start doing that, then we can start recovering or start growing as an economy. We have to do a few other things too. We have excessive regulation within the state. We always want to protect our workers and people, but we're over the top. We're over the top. We need to pull some of that back so there's not as much cost on business. We also have some excessive litigation costs. We peel some of that back. We're growing again. Businesses and people want to be in Illinois. Our biggest obstacle is state government, and property taxes is at the top of the list. As far as inflation, the best thing I can do is help lower your taxes so you have more money to spend the way you want to. That is one of the best things that we could do. After that, we could stop borrowing the money that we do as a state at the levels we do. If we do that, it will help drive interest rates down. Government doesn't need to be borrowing so much of the money. It would make more money available for people to borrow at lower rates. And then on the immigration issue, first and foremost, I have signed onto a bill that one of our representatives filed before I could think of it, but it's to repeal the sanctuary state status. First and foremost, we need to get rid of that. The Trust Act was a big mistake. We need to cooperate with federal authorities. That's the way our system of government works. We should be cooperating, and the sanctuary state status should go away. But most importantly, we need to stop spending as much money as we're spending yearly that we don't have as a state on the immigrants that have come here recently. Over the last 3 years, well, the past 2 years and going into this current fiscal year, we are set to spend a total of $3.3 billion on immigrants. That's giving them housing, giving them health care, giving them other items, and we just can't afford it. It shouldn't be our burden. And Illinois citizens and residents need relief from too high a taxes, as well as the fact that they need certain services themselves that they're probably not receiving because of that. That money could be spent elsewhere. But I'll just add this too. In order to spend that $1.1 billion for this coming fiscal year that we just started in July and will end next June 30th, what a lot of people don't realize is that early in the morning, the party in the supermajority raised taxes by almost $1 billion. And that was done 4:30 in the morning in the dark of night and received very little press, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
crazy how the timing works out sometimes, huh?
Yeah, it is. So I know I covered a lot, and I'm sorry if I carried on a bit much, but those are the issues, and that's how I think we can best address them.
So the fact that the immigration problem, if it's a problem, is occurring, it starts at the border, and many of the asylum seekers or the immigrants end up in Illinois. There would be less ending up in this state if we weren't going out of our way to try to welcome them here or take care of them once they get here? Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's my firm belief. I mean, I look at the numbers where these immigrants that came in during the Biden administration have settled. And if you look at the numbers, it's the states that have a sanctuary state status is where most of them landed, especially on a percentage basis. And Illinois, I believe, is top 3. It may be 4 or 5, but we are definitely at the top of the list.
Another thing that we've been talking a lot about on different shows here since it started was the cashless bail and the SAFE-T Act. As a state representative, do you have any impact on that whatsoever? As far as first of all, I guess, how do you feel about that, where it stands right now? I know we've talked about it a lot in the last couple of weeks because of one individual who committed allegedly a homicide right here in the city of Elgin, who should have been behind bars and was not, and maybe was a result of the Pretrial Fairness Act and the SAFE-T Act letting him out when he should have not have been out. And so it's been back in the news, and it's been a hot topic here lately. How do you feel about all of that?
I voted against the SAFE-T Act. I'm still opposed to it. There's certain portions of it that I can get behind, things such as police wearing body cameras and the like. But the vast majority of it, I think, needs a bit more work. And in fact, I have filed numerous bills myself, including a bill that would bring back cash bail and yet still achieve the goals that the proponents of the SAFE-T Act said they wanted with ending cash bail. The Supreme Court had a commission that I was part of for a year and a half, and we studied this, and we came up with a system that, not everyone on the commission agreed upon, but a good number of us, and we had a proposal that could have reformed pretrials within the state of Illinois, kept cash bail, and like I said, achieved the goal that the proponents of the SAFE-T Act said they were working for. It still can be done, and that's why I filed this bill, to put it in place so that we can go back there and have cash bail and have reasonable reforms that don't penalize people because they're lower income people, but at the same time keep those locked up that need to be locked up while they're awaiting trial, because certain people just present that much of a danger. We need to allow judicial discretion. But there's quite a few other things within that SAFE-T Act that need revision or replacing or just repealing altogether. And I was part of a task force that House Republican leader Tony McCombie put together, and we came up, we have a whole list of bills, and I can direct your listeners to a website that for the House Republicans where they can find them if they're interested. So.
Well, we have about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left, Dan. So in that final time, do you just want to make a statement about maybe what you feel like you've accomplished, what your next steps are, and how people can find out more about you?
Sure. First of all, if you're looking for information on me, because I'll always forget to do this at the end, it's Ugaste4Illinois.com. It's pretty simple.
The word for?
No, yes, the word for. F-O-R, yes.
Ugaste, U-G-A-S-T-E, the word for, Illinois.com.
Yes,
okay.
Thanks for putting that out. What I've accomplished is I have been able so far to get people to understand that bills we are passing, regulations we are setting, mandates we are passing, all these other things are creating problems for Illinois, and that we're not growing economically the way we should. As far as getting actual bills passed, due to the supermajority status and superminority status that I've been in ever since I got into office in Illinois, in the Illinois State House, I haven't been able to pass a lot. I've passed some bills, some that have helped our first responders, police and fire, which we can generally get some agreement on, as well as some other bills that have helped with funding for school-age kids and things of that nature. But as far as the bills that I want to keep working on that I think are going to have the biggest impact, such as the pro-growth bills that I have outlined, I still need to get down and work on those. I think I'm getting close to getting people to pass them, whether it's a supermajority or not, but I'm just not there yet.
Dan, thanks for the time, and good luck as you try to win another term.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Missouri Elgin campus is intent in their commitment
Dan
to
Ugaste
open
here on
doors
WRMN. Stay tuned for more of the first shift.
Excellence. Too many people have been made to feel that higher education isn't a place for them, that it is someone else's dream. But Columbia College of Missouri has changed all that. With individualized attention and ongoing support, Columbia College knows a future built by you is a future built for you. Columbia College of Missouri Elgin campus, your new starts now. Visit ccis.edu.
Ultimate Combat Gauntlet, live professional wrestling. Newest, freshest, most exciting, action-packed, fun-to-watch wrestling event on the southwest side of the Chicagoland area. Magoo's Bar on 6550 South on Menard Avenue in Bedford Park. Next show, Friday, 20 September. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. $20 for adults, $10 for children accompanied by adults. Discount for military veterans and first responders.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 8 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Brought to you by Linzette's. Elgin authorities are investigating a shooting incident that occurred on Tuesday evening at around 6 p.m. on Pegwood Drive. Officers arrived at the scene in the 1100 block after reports of gunfire were made. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported. The Elgin Police Department urging anyone with information to come forward and assist with the investigation. In a move towards sustainable development, Kane County introducing its fourth public electric vehicle charger at the Kane County Division of Transportation on Burlington Road in Kaptain Hills. The move marks another milestone in the county's commitment to enhancing electric vehicle infrastructure. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Halle, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Halle's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Wake up, Fox River Valley. WRMN AM 1410 is shaking things up with a brand new weekday lineup that'll keep you informed, entertained, and engaged. I'm Marky B, WRMN Program Director and host of The First Shift, inviting you to start your day with The First Shift from 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Larry Jones, Jakes, myself, and the entire First Shift team bring you the latest local news, entertainment, and, my favorite, more to kick off your morning. Then it's out to lunch with Matt McNeil from 10 until 1 p.m. Tune in for your midday fix of news, interviews, community happenings, and of course, the legendary WRMN Tradio Show. In the afternoon, join us for Fox Valley Afternoons from 2 until 6 p.m. Tammy and friends will chat lifestyle from 2 to 4, while Sonar and his crew dive into politics and news from 4 until 6. Plus, get to know the movers and shakers of the Fox River Valley with exclusive interviews, too. Don't miss out on our new local lineup that's tailor-made for you. WRMN AM 1410, the talk of the town. Tune in and turn it up.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Huge challenge on tap for number 20 Illinois football this Saturday afternoon when they visit number 1 Oregon. The Ducks are 7-0, the Illini 6-1. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-111 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. Scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves. And earned Kohl's cash. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Attention all burger enthusiasts and game aficionados. Celebrate a century of excellence at Mott's Lounge. Proudly serving the community for 100 years under 5 generations of passionate ownership. Sink your teeth into our hand-pressed fresh burgers bursting with flavor, crafted just the way you like them. And while you're here, enjoy our exclusive drink specials, perfect for toasting to our milestone anniversary. Plus, challenge your luck with our state-of-the-art gaming machines, adding an extra thrill to your visit. Join us at Mott's Lounge and be a part of history in the making. Here's to another century of great food, fun, and memories. Mott's Lounge, where every visit is a celebration. For more information, visit us online at mottslounge.com.
The word is out. Nissans cost less on Route 19, but that's not all. Parts, service, and body shop, they all cost less at McGrath Nissan. Used cars too. The reason why is how hard we try. Right now, get 0% APR financing on select new Nissan models at McGrath Nissan because
Nissans cost less on Route 19.
Come to Elgin.
See what we mean.
Batteries
Plus bulbs is more than batteries and bulbs. It's your repair shop for Apple devices, Samsung Galaxy devices, and more. Located on Randall Road, just south of 20 in Elgin, Batteries Plus Bulbs fills all your battery and light bulb needs in one stop. They have the largest selection of batteries for ATVs, cameras, phones, laptops, scooters, cars and homes, and everything else. Looking to save money with energy-efficient LED or holiday lighting? Stop in at Batteries Plus Bulbs in Elgin. Go to batteriesplus.com for special offers.
For many years, Italian Pizza Kitchen in Roselle has been serving quality and excellence. Italian Pizza Kitchen is family-owned with experience in preparing authentic Italian cuisine with the freshest, highest quality ingredients since the 50s. Your food is always prepared fresh with the same traditions, recipes, and standards that they've perfected over the years. Italian Pizza Kitchen has a passion for great cuisine and customer service. Visit ItalianPizzaKitchen.com.
Bender Dental Care, located at 217 North McLean Boulevard in Elgin. Bender Dental wants everyone to be informed, appreciated, and cared for at all times. To prove it, they now offer a new patient exam for just $29. That includes consult, x-ray, exam, and cleaning. Let Bender Dental help you have healthy teeth and gums for a lifetime. Located at 217 North McLean Boulevard in Elgin. Visit BenderDentalCare.com.
Crime is up in Illinois, and I'm not sitting back to wait and watch dangerous, radical left policies destroy Kane County. I'm Andrew Sosnowski. I have over 35 years of experience with prosecutions of crime, advocating for victims and children. I will root out the causes of crime and be the lead county prosecutor who will fight for our freedom, safety, and security. Vote Andrew Sosnowski for Kane County State's Attorney. I'm Andrew Sosnowski, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Sosnowski for Kane Committee.
Looking for a place to try for breakfast or lunch? You'll find a gem of a restaurant with amazing food and great prices at the Tripleberry Cafe, 435 Angela Lane in Crystal Lake. For breakfast, try Tripleberry's strawberry cheesecake French toast, ribeye steak and eggs, or carnitas skillets. At lunch, there's the AM burger or Chipotle chicken BLT. There's delicious homemade cream of mushroom soup. For tasty home cooking, Tripleberry Cafe is the place to be. Visit tripleberrycafe.com.
8:09, Fast and Furious show here today. Welcome back to it. First shift on WRMN. And next up will be Marcus Mack for a few minutes. He's our sports guy, sports director who has his own show on Saturday mornings from 10 until 12, a part of our Saturday morning Fox River Valley Sports Network that's developing. We have Hampshire football on the airwaves tomorrow night with the wild and wacky Jeff Myers. And we look forward to that broadcast tomorrow night here on WRMN as our fourth and final Hampshire football game comes to the airwaves as we strive to bring back local high school sports. This year we've started with a few Hampshire games. I know Dino DeLaley and some of the sports team now are trying to figure out a way to put some basketball games on this year, so we're working on that behind the scenes. Marcus is on every Saturday morning from 10 until 12, and I believe he'll be on with me in about 5 minutes just to give a quick update on what he's going to talk about this Saturday on the show. I'm sure it'll be about Bears football. As the Bears play Washington, the Fox Prime game of the week, 3:25 on Sunday afternoon. Which reminds me to let you know about the Pick Six, which is our contest brought to you by Rookies All-American Sports Pub and Village Squire on Randall Road and in West Dundee, and Old Republic on Randall Road, and Alexander's Cafe on Route 31 just north of I-90. All a great family of restaurants that work together, and you can go to one of those restaurants if you win our weekly Pick Six contest. A $25 gift certificate could be yours. Brad Bonner was the winner last week. He went 5-1. Pick Six is available on our website right now at WRMN1410.com. The Bears are one of the games on the Pick Six as they take on Washington at 3:25 Sunday. We'll have our picks tomorrow morning on the show. Larry Jones is back with me along with Jakes and Tim Calderwood, the play-by-play voice of the Schaumburg Boomers. One of our sports so-called experts joins us at about 8:40 tomorrow morning to talk a little bit about sports. 8:11 here at WRMN. Thanks once again to State Rep Dan Ugaste, who checked in with us and gave us his thoughts on the political climate a little bit, what he feels like he does on a regular basis to represent you, and what he plans to do moving forward, and what some of the hot topics and issues are. Yep, I think he hit them. Property taxes, inflation, immigration. Property taxes, inflation, immigration. Vote now. The polls open again today in about 18 minutes at a couple of places, and here locally at the Elgin Township and the Gale Borden Library, the two prime local spots in the Elgin area to vote. They open at 9 o'clock this morning, 9 to 5. 8:12 here at WRMN. We're on YouTube at WRMN Radio on YouTube. Let's go back to our staff meeting for just a couple of moments. Nice to have you back in this morning, Pump Handle Phil. Don't be a stranger, buddy. Linda Carter's here. She's hanging out with the ladies, and the ladies are on the other side right now, sharing a cup of coffee and a couple of donuts this morning. CK and Anna the Chairman, Director of Foreign Affairs, gregarious Gina, along with Linda Carter. Good morning to friend Brenda. She's over in the hut this morning, over there by Eaton's Redwood Inn, by the train tracks, the entranceway to downtown Elgin. Is that a good thing or a bad thing that that intersection is the entranceway to downtown Elgin? You decide. I think I know how you're going to decide. 8:13 here at WRMN. Let's go to the phones. We have Elgin City Councilman Steve Thorne joining us on the phones now on this busy Thursday morning. Hi, Steve. Good morning.
Good morning, Marky B, and good morning, all first shifters. Very nice interview with Dan Ugaste. I've met him a number of times and had a nice meeting with him when I was down in Springfield. He was an excellent representative. I commend his record and all that he does. But I'm calling to wish First Shift Sherry a very happy birthday. So today is Sherry Blazer's birthday, and hope that others will call in and wish her a happy birthday as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks for reminding us that it's First Shift Sherry's birthday today, Steve.
Sounds good. She's done so much for the city and for the Elgin Public Museum. She certainly deserves kudos and a nice wish from everybody.
Yeah. Well, great. Thanks for calling and wishing her a happy birthday. And listening next hour, some of your colleagues will be on the air with me, Mayor Dave Kaptain and Rose Martinez, to talk about the Korean War veteran who's back in town.
Yes, that's a wonderful thing that Simmons is doing for that family and others that are engaged and involved in it. And so nice. Rose made the announcement last night at the council meeting as well. I'm certainly going to try to participate in that. I'm not sure that I can do anything on Sunday, but I certainly will on Monday morning. So hats off to that. And I know that Simmons is really going out of their way. I think they're even paying for the Bluff City Cemetery opening and closing of the gravesite. So kudos to Simmons, as they always do so much for veterans.
Yeah. All right, Steve, thanks, man. We'll see you tomorrow morning on your show.
Great. Thanks, buddy. Have a good day, everybody.
You too. All right, Steve Thorne checking in with us. It's 8:15 here at WRMN. Of course, his show is on Friday mornings. It's the Senior Community Spotlight Show, followed by Music Memories. Tomorrow is a Music Memories Day, right, Steve? If it's not, let me know. Music Memories with Stevie T happens several times a month, where we take a look back in music history from the 75 years WRMN has been on the air and play music from the entire 75-year period, but especially the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s on Steve's show. 8:15 here at WRMN, and right on schedule today, we welcome to the program our friend Marcus Mack. Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Marky B? What's going on?
Just a busy morning, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. Yeah, it's a little nippy out in the air, but, we're surviving. Sun's out, so we got sports amongst us again. Bears are back on Sunday.
Bears are back on Sunday, and this is when you start to feel like it really is football season, when the weather turns to get into 50-degree temperatures during the day, 30-degree temperatures at night. Makes you think it's football season, and we are getting to the heart of the football schedule. The Bears now 4-2 on that 3-game winning streak, Marcus, but this will be their toughest opponent that they've had in a few weeks.
Yes, they're facing the Washington Commanders, who are 5-2, top of their division. Right now, though, it's looking like their starting quarterback, number 2 pick, Jaden Daniels, will not play because of a rib injury. So Marcus Mariota will be coming in, the Commanders' backup. The Bears gives them a great chance, I believe, even though they're on the road, to come away with the victory.
Yeah, we'll see if that defense stands tall against a Washington offense that's been good, and we'll see if Mariota quarterbacking instead of Daniels makes a difference for Washington on Sunday. The NFC North continues to be the toughest division in football. We saw a big battle last week between Detroit and Minnesota, kind of proving that. I feel like maybe Detroit's the best team in the NFC. They're the team maybe to beat right now in the NFC, but Minnesota hung right in there with the Lions.
Yes, indeed. I was glued to the TV watching that game. It coming in the halftime, it looked like Detroit was going to, slam them down of 21-10, and then Minnesota came roaring back and made it a very thrilling game right up to the end. And I agree with you. Currently at this moment, Detroit is the best team in the NFC, but the Bears are not out of that fight.
Well, how many teams do you know? Because I was talking with Larry about this the other day. Ever since baseball and football has added more wild cards and more teams to the playoff picture, I have had a hard time keeping track of how many wild cards actually are going from each conference. In the NFL, do you know how many wild cards are going to represent the NFC?
It's going to be 8 teams.
8 teams.
So you got your 4 division winners.
Okay.
Then you got your 2 guys that get in, and then you got your 2 wild cards that make up the 8.
So 8 teams. So the Bears, even if they finish, crazy as it sounds, even if they were to finish in last place, which is very realistic in their division because you got every team being good, if they could muster enough wins against non-division teams, they still, even as a last-place team in the NFC North, could possibly make the playoffs, right?
Yes. Yeah. And here's the crazy part about it. The Bears could win 11 games and still end up being last in their division. That's how good the NFC North is this year.
Yeah, except for these teams are going to start playing each other, so some of these teams are going to start getting some losses. But,
they're going to eat themselves up, and hopefully the Bears can come out on top.
Yeah. Are you tracking on your show on Saturday mornings the Chicago Bulls at all? I know last night they played their first game of the season.
Yes.
And they lost to New Orleans, and they bring back Billy Donovan again. They bring back the same players every year. Why do we have any reason for any optimism for the Chicago Bulls?
None. And that's the truth, and that's why I love my show, The Truth About Chicago Sports. There's no lies. We have no optimism, but they did get some young talent that came in the draft. They got this young kid, Bucelis, who's got potential. But other than that, it's the same team from last year. They brought in one new piece, Josh Gitney, in a trade from Oklahoma. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, Marky, I don't see much happening. It's the same old story. The Bulls come out. Zach LaVine gets a bunch of points in the first, second, and third quarter. In the fourth quarter, he's nowhere to be found. And the same old story, can't stop the best player on the other team. He goes off. Brandon Ingram dropping 33 on the Bulls yesterday, and it equals another loss.
Yeah. You talk about certain players. They may have star talent, but sometimes they can take away from a team. Do you feel like that's the case with Zach LaVine? Is he a bit of a cancer to have on your team?
It seems to me to be that way, Marky D. Last year, you saw Kobe White thrive. You saw Patrick Williams start to thrive when Zach LaVine was out. He comes back to the lineup, and you see, once again, the numbers reflect that. Kobe White had a difficult game. Patrick Williams was non-existent, but yet Zach LaVine gets his numbers. And like I say, but it always comes in the first 3 quarters. And unfortunately, basketball is 4 quarters, Zach, and we kind of need that fourth quarter scoring as well. So, at this point, Marky B, all we got to look forward to is Friday, Yankees, Dodgers, and the Bears on Sunday. Hawks and Bulls, we're still in the waiting on that.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, man. Thanks for doing everything you're doing for the sports department, and thanks for joining me this morning on the show.
Are you kidding me? I love it. I love every time you have me on, buddy. I look forward to it next week.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Marcus Mack, Truth About Chicago Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 until noon, part of our 8 to noon coverage every Saturday morning. Fox Valley Sports Network, budding. It's springtime in many ways on the radio station. We have a lot of flowers budding around here. As we take our new community-focused approach. It's 8:21 here at WRMN. 6 to 6 local programming all day. Matt's got his show this morning, Out to Lunch. He's adding more to it all the time. And we were happy to be able to go live to North Aurora yesterday to cover that press conference announcing that Lindahl was once again the killer of Kathy Holly back in 1979. We hope to cover more live press conferences and things like that in the coming months and years here at WRMN. In the afternoons, Talk Time with Tammy is a cute and fun little show with Tammy and her friends that join her every day. Today's probably a Nancy day. Yesterday was a Mary day. Becky's the wild card. We never know when we're going to get Becky on the show. But it was nice to hear Trusty Pat calling Tammy's show. If you haven't had a chance to listen to Tammy yet, be a part of her show. Give her a call during the program. They're smart ladies. They've lived life, and they know a lot about a lot of different aspects of life, whether it's news or lifestyle or gardening or family or whatever the case may be. It's Tammy and Nancy this afternoon. Talk Time with Tammy from 2 until 4, and hopefully with you. And then Sonar and Bendamoni and Boquist have a political talk show from 4 until 6. It's the second half of Fox Valley Afternoons. All right, 8:23 here at WRMN. With all the different guests we have in this morning, I'm trying to figure out what's the next maneuver on the program. We have a few more minutes here before we take the bottom of the hour break. And then I'm told that our guest is here, Lucas Strom, who I have labeled here on my notes as a concerned citizen in Burlington School District 301. We'll see if he's okay with that title when he comes in the room here in a few minutes to talk about why you, if you live in that area and that's going to be on your ballot, should vote yes to the referendum. 8:23 here at WRMN. All right, the Pick 6 is available on our website. If you can get into the radio station, I do have sheets in our community center. You can fill out a sheet and drop it in the slot in the box for a chance to win a $25 gift card to Rookies All-American Sports Pub and Grill. Our website, WRMN1410.com. Click on the tab Pick 6 on the top right side of the page to be involved. Let's take it to YouTube for a moment and say good morning to Dino checking in. Dino, the director, Delaley. Mum's been the word from Dino about what he's doing on his show tomorrow afternoon. You might have to stay tuned and find out. He handles the 2 to 4 slot on Friday afternoons, the one day of the week that Talk Time with Tammy is not on the air. It's Dino's Night Out tomorrow afternoon from 2 until 4. Stay tuned. Find out what he's going to cover tomorrow. Today, Dino says, God morning, FRV, first shift and Marky B, in recognition of National Kangaroo Day. Good day to our friend from down under, Derica, who has called in a couple of times on the show here today. Dino sends a bunch of kangaroo emojis and also a prayer. That's prayer number 91 on the prayer scoreboard from Dino, the director, Delaley. Ninny Rose checking in. In all caps, she says, the little girl in my car is my granddaughter, Iris, not Haley. Oh boy, another name. Another name. Ninny Rose, I think this time she is yelling at me. I have many grandkids and one great-grandson who is 2 months old, yells Ninny Rose. Wow. In all caps. Okay. The names are getting many. Iris, 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 Iris. Iris, Iris. If you say it 7 times, will it stick with you? She had a nice smile, and Ninny Rose was in one of the cars that passed by me while Dan Ugaste was on the air with me last hour. As Ninny Rose takes the kids to school. Also, Northwest Wes and Northwest Wesley Jr. drove by. the radio station as well. I thought this soundbite might be weird, with Dan Ugaste sitting next to me.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Dan would not have known what I was doing.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Dan, that's the salute to Northwest Wes and Northwest Wesley Jr. II, who pull by the radio station every morning at 7:37 a.m.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
No particular reason for that soundbite. They just heard me play it one time for no particular reason, and they said, we want that to be our official soundbite.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
827 here at WRMN. The Sultan of South Elgin says, morning, y'all, from Madison, Wisconsin today. Make it a perky and peaceful Thursday. The Sultan of South Elgin. Pulling up outside the radio station right now, very early, is our very own Rose Martinez. Sitting in her little sports car out there, prepping her notes. You know she's prepared. And we'll let Rose steal the show next hour if she wants to. She can ask the questions to Gloria Valle, the niece of Heriberto Ortiz, whose remains are coming to Elgin later on this afternoon via O'Hare Airport. Landing time somewhere about 3 o'clock today, and he'll be rolling down Dundee Avenue and between 5:30 and 5:45, maybe, depending on traffic, to Simmons Madison Funeral Home. Visitation Sunday, visitation again for a little bit Monday, followed by a mass over at St. Mary's, then the burial at the Bluff City Cemetery. More details on that as soon as I can find my details. They've disappeared, so I may have to print them out again. But we'll talk more in detail about that next hour on Captain's Corner. Maybe also get a quick recap of what occurred last night at the Elgin City Council meeting. 8:28 here at WRMN. We're going to catch the bottom of the hour news. Generally, I work some music into the show, but it's been such a quick show today with lots of information that music hasn't really played a role in the program today, but that's okay. We will let music play a role when it needs to. I do like to play the music, though. Let's see. We have John Polero checking in on YouTube today. He says, our tomato plants are fading away. That's John Polero. JP, the car czar, puts on the great car shows all around the Fox River Valley. Wonderful, wonderful Wilma Cash is in. She says, good morning, Marky B and our first shift friends. I hope all are well. Enjoy the time with WRMN. Thanks, wonderful, wonderful Wilma Cash for joining us every day. And the Sultan says the number of signs only indicates how much money is being put into a campaign. I have seen plenty of campaigns where there were tons of signs for a candidate and they lost. Yeah, signs don't win elections. That's what I hear. I've heard that a few times here recently. But you just want to get that name out there as much as you can, and then hopefully you have some backbone and some issues that you're running on that make people want to vote for you. All right, we're going to talk about Burlington Central in a couple of moments. It's 8:30. Good morning.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Brought to you by Linzess. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Halle, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Halle's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl. A 29-year-old Cook County resident, Darren Lipscomb, facing charges related to bank fraud. According to the Minooka Police Chief Justin Meyer, Lipscomb's legal troubles began after a routine traffic stop last month where he was caught executing an illegal U-turn. During the stop, police discovered checks worth over $3,000 in Lipscomb's possession, which were allegedly stolen from a Missouri bank.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22. scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earn Kohl's Cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-111 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. DeJounte Murray had 14 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in his Pelicans debut. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14. Up next for the Bulls, they visit Milwaukee on Friday night. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's Cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers end October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
This is Darian D. Silk Sims, the general manager of American Silk Radio. Are you looking for a place to broadcast your podcast? What about being on the airwaves? Well, this is the perfect place for you. We have incredible audio engineers that will do the heavy lifting that will help you to bring your dream to a reality. If you're ready to take a crack at being a podcast radio superstar, send us an email to americansilkradio@gmail.com. That's americansilkradio@gmail.com. Let us help make you a star, where it's always all silk all the time.
Microsoft has new computers that put AI first, this special category called Copilot Plus PCs. They have minimum specs plus a chip just for AI. The company unveiling the first Surface devices with the designation, powered by Qualcomm chips, not Intel. One notable AI feature is called Recall. It lets your computer remember everything you do so that you can find files, images, and websites later. More tech news tips on Rich on Tech.
Every Saturday from 1 to 4, right here on WRMN.
8:36 here on the first shift. Welcome back. Studio 14, downtown Elgin, Thursday morning. Playing musical chairs here in the studio today. Lucas Strom joins us now. And let's see. I have concerned citizen in Burlington School District 301. Is that an accurate description of you, Lucas? Welcome to the show, by the way.
Involved, more so than concerned, maybe. But yeah, that works. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you reached out to me a couple days ago because there's a big issue going on out there right now with this referendum. First of all, you want to just introduce yourself to our listening audience a little bit, give us your background a bit?
Yeah, no, appreciate it, Mark. So Lucas Strom, I've been in this community since I was born. I actually own our family farm. It's a fourth generation farm just north of Lily Lake. So I grew up here. I graduated here. My father graduated from Burlington Central once it was unified in the 60s. And so I've been raising my family here, and my kids will be third generation up at the high school. So again, I've been involved with the community in different fashions, and with the high school as part of this referendum. This is a huge issue for our school district and for our community.
Yeah. Do you want to explain the referendum a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe its history, because it's already been a part of a ballot, I think, in the past, right?
So yeah, twice, actually. This will be the third time. So, which is not uncommon. It seems to be that most referendums in our area take a couple times to go through and make changes or keep the same. So, you know, when I was in high school in the 90s, we had a big referendum in the late 80s for the current high school, for the first version of that. So if you think about the history of our school district, when my father graduated in 62, I think his graduating class might have been 30-some or 40 people in the graduating class. When I was in 7th and 8th grade, we were still in that same school that he was in the 50s and 60s, right? Back in the late 80s and early 90s. And so I was the first class to go through the current high school back in 91 through 95 for 4 years.
The current high school?
The current high school,
okay.
in its first form, because the current high school has actually been added onto, I think, 5 times now, right? So when we built it, we almost outgrew it by the time I left it. So within 5-6 years, we had almost started outgrowing that. And that's because we live in an area in which growth has been pretty constant for us for 70 years, 80 years, decade in, decade out, right? And that's because of the nature of our school district. So some more history on our school district. Our school district was unified back in the, I think it was 50s. And we have 83 square miles of ground in our district, 83 square miles. That's huge.
Okay.
Compared to St. Charles, they have 50-some. I think they have 53, 54. So we're 150% the size of St. Charles School District. Now, we're much more rural, right?
Right, a lot of farmland.
A lot of farmland. Most of it's farmland.
Yeah.
And actually, when I was in high school, the vast majority was rural farmland. And when my dad was in high school, it was all. I mean, my dad used to ride his horse down 47, right? You can't really do that anymore. 47's gotten pretty busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has always been rural. We're less rural now than we used to be, and we'll continue to be, right? That's just the nature of. I'm not pro-growth by any means, right? I have a family farm, and we're the only farm that's ever sold our development rights east of 47. So there's a program in the Kane County that helps preserve open space, and either open space is preserved through the forest preserve or through a program where where landowners can sell development rights. We're the only farm that's ever sold development rights east of 47. So that means part of our farm will never be developed. And I would it be nice if others did that too, but that's a financial decision that's hard to make. And what you see here is more and more investors over the last 20, 30 years, more and more investors and builders and developers have bought land in our school district. And that's where you can kind of see this long-term change of our district is going to slowly go from 99% rural to probably 50% rural and 50%, suburbs, if you will.
Yeah. So you sold development rights to your farm. What does that mean?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a totally separate program, nothing to do with the referendum, but I'm happy to talk about it because I think it's a great program. So back in 2001, my grandmother and my aunts and uncles, they sold the original, and it's like selling mineral rights. You can never rezone your land. So you own the land, you're a landowner, it's deeded to the landowner. They never lose rights to that land. They just could never rezone that land to residential or to commercial. So what it basically is, it takes all the value, all the development and commercial value away from the land, keeps it ag. So our farm, our original 109-year-old family farm that my wife and I own, will never be developed. And that's on Route 47, right? It's the only piece of property on Route 47 that sold its development. And that was because we didn't want to have a future generation sell it to make money. We wanted to keep it the family farm that my great-grandfather established in 1915, and that was important. And so it's a great program. It's a program that's open, and I actually just put more ground into that last year. So I put some more of our ground into that program, and then it'll never be developed.
But you're saying that you're the only one. You think that it's going to stay that way, or you think everybody else is going to sell out, and so that's why that area is going to grow more residentially, and therefore, as we get to this need for the referendum in your mind, it's going to be because the area is going to grow because these farms are going to be sold.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's what's happened. That's what's happened already, and will continue to happen. And that's whether we like it or not. Again, I'm not pro-growth or anti-growth. I'm just pro-reality. The reality is, when you see land that comes up for sale and is sold for $30,000 an acre, farmers can't buy. You can't buy farmland and farm it if you're paying more than $15,000 an acre these days. So anything that's ever sold for more than, say, $12,000, $13,000, $15,000 is not going to be farmed long term, right? It's some investor that's renting it out, or it's a developer that's renting it out to a local farmer, but then at some point would be turned into a development. And you can look at that, right? I mean, Sherman Health System owns land right around the corner from our current high school, right? They bought that 15, 20 years ago because they know at some point there'll be medical facilities needed out in our area on Route 47. There'll be grocery stores put on. You see the Shodine owns land looking at developments. 1,000 acres just came up for sale in Burlington. Within the village of Burlington, 1,000-acre piece of property just came up for sale. And I think they're going to sell it for probably $10,000 or $15,000 or $10,000 or $13,000 or whatever they're listed for. But it's hard. You can't farm that for that kind of money. That will end up being, now that property in Burlington probably won't be developed for 15 years. But the way I look at it is long term, what is the best thing for our school district? What is the best thing for our community? And that is to think long term. Because if we only address the issues that we have in front of us the next 3 or 5 years, that becomes problematic. Because then we're always coming back to our community members, our taxpayers, and asking for another referendum in 5 years. And another referendum in 5 years. And that's what I don't want to see happen. I don't want us to think short term and have to come back and ask for more money shortly because we can continue to see this growth.
So do you want to, I don't have the referendum in front of me. Do you, can you kind of let us know what the referendum says, what it asks?
I don't have it verbatim with me, but it's essentially very much the same verbiage as the last referendum, which was just this last spring that was voted down. And it was voted down the previous year as well. So this is the third take on this specific. And if this one doesn't pass, my guess is that they'll reconvene groups to talk about alternative plans, right? Because you take 3 stabs at it, and then we got to figure out what else we can do. I fully believe that the plan that's been proposed is the best plan, and I'll talk about it. But what that is it's a referendum for $225 million. I think it's $224.6 or something, but it's $225 million. Which is a big price tag, but our taxpayers will pay that over a 30-year period, right? It's a 30-year bond issuance. And so the impact for a house of maybe, I think it's $400,000, the average house, is about $120 a year in additional taxes to what they pay today. It's $120 because we have bonds that are sunsetting or being finished paying off from the country trails and the prairie knolls. So we had bonds that put out in 2006 that are about to be paid off. So our taxes could, if we did nothing, let's say growth completely stopped and we didn't have to have any more capital projects, which nobody, even the opponents of this referendum, believe we have to do something. They just believe in something different. We have to do something. But if no growth existed, we'd be able to pay all our bonds off. We wouldn't have any new capital projects. All of our taxes would come down, which would be great. I mean, I'd love taxes to come down too. But this is for a referendum for a $225 million new high school. The key here is the new high school allows us to repurpose the current high school to a junior high that then allows us to have 6th through 8th grade in one school. And if you talk to any administration, if you see any material, most your academics, most of your teachers and administration believe that a single junior high for 3 grades makes it easier to have like Spanish 1 and 2 or 3 and have a curriculum in the same facility for those 3 grades, as opposed to right now we have 6th and 7th grade in one school and then 8th grade as a standalone in the old high school, the CMS. So there's some curriculum challenges to having your junior high split. So the referendum gives us a new high school. It then allows us to repurpose and create a single junior high for 6th through 8th grade, and then convert Prairie Knolls, which is the current 6th, 7th grade, into the 5th elementary, which would give us 3 elementary schools in that northeast corridor. Because as you know, most of our growth and development has been on the northeast section of our school district, right? Most of our growth is on the east side, and it continues to will continue to move west, right? So it gives us that 3rd grade school that we need up in the east. Because right now our immediate needs are on the elementary side, right? That's what our next, call it 3 to 5 years. The problem is with the delay on, how you do the referendum passes, then you break ground, then you build the school, then you get all the students moved in. It takes 2 to 3 years minimum to get students moved in. So even if we pass something next month, or actually in 2 weeks, it's still going to be 3 years before we can move students in. If we built an elementary, let's say this didn't pass, and option B comes in next year, and we pass that next fall, that's 2 years to build an elementary. We're still 3 years out. The independent report that we have that says, here's where our growth looks like for the next 5 or 10 years, we're already 3 years into that, just to address the needs that we have, the immediate needs we have today, right? We're 3 years into mobile units, right? Our kids are 5th graders. I think it's all 5th graders, 5th or 4th graders, at 3 of the different grade schools are in mobile units, right? Because we're outgrown our elementary schools. That's been going on for 3 years. We will have at least another 2 or 3 years of mobile units before we could even build an elementary or a high school. So why I'm such a supporter, and why there's a big portion of us that are supporters, even though it's a bigger price tag today, if we spend the money on this high school now, it addresses all levels. It doesn't just address elementary, it addresses high school, junior high, and elementary, where the district and the third-party report recommends, if you look at that third-party report by RSP, they actually say that future facility plans should focus on increasing total district capacity, not just elementary today, but total district capacity, because you were going to see that over the next 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, it's almost a certainty. I think we were the second fastest growing school district in the state of Illinois for the last 5 years or 10 years or something.
So we have a lot of people that live out in that area, I'm sure, that don't want the growth, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They move to that area,
down.
right?
Yeah.
They move to that area because they want to keep it small. They want to be in the country. They don't want to be where all the people are. And
it's a funny sentence, right? I mean, I think about this as a family that's been here for a long time. It's a funny sentence to say, I moved out here because I moved out here. I was part of the growth to be part of the rural atmosphere.
Right.
It's a weird sentence to say, right?
Yeah. Well, and then once they're out there, they want it to stay.
Everyone wants to be the last one in the party.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's natural.
So in a way, you're thinking the sprawl is going to just continue, especially if the economy improves and bounces back over the next several years. And I think you mentioned to me on the phone the other day, all the way between Huntley and Elburn, all the farmlands out there are eventually going to become like cities, not like Elgin.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I mean, I wouldn't say that. I think it's going to just look more like the east side of St. Charles or Geneva, right? I mean, you see the growth, you see this big development that they're is going to be controversial on the east side or on the west side of St. Charles, right? It's like 1,900 homes. It was approved. It's I think it's a Pulte subdivision, right? And they want to annex into St. Charles. I mean, that growth is happening south of us still too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Canelan's seen it. St. Charles might see it. So yeah, I mean, we're going to have more development. When you have investors or developers or commercial companies that own land, it is inevitable, whether we like it or not. I'd love all the farmland to be sold the development rights and we keep it all open. And quite honestly, most of your ground west of 47 will probably stay rural for the next 30 years or 50 years.
Yeah.
But it's basically 47 to Randall Road that most of that has already been gone and it will continue to go. And that's just a reality. Again, I'm not pro-growth or anti-growth. I'm just pro-reality. And when you look at it and you see land for sale for $40,000 an acre on 47, or you see land being sold in Elgin for $35,000 an acre that was sold for $17,000 4 years ago, those are indicators. That's what you see happening. I mean, you have to, you can't ignore those kind of things.
8:51. I do have a comment on YouTube. I have Tim Smid, who listens to the show all the time. I'm not sure if he lives that way or not, but I'll just read to you what he typed here. Yeah. If you believe that there is going to be a big need, why don't you promote larger impact fees for the new houses that are requiring this build out? He said, our property taxes have been going out of sight and are pushing working homeowners out of our homes. And then he said, while living on a farm, you enjoy large property tax breaks that people that are living in a subdivision don't enjoy. Those were his comments.
Well, my house is in a subdivision, and I do own my farm, so I pay taxes both ways. And I'm not sure what tax breaks that a farmer gets. I know lots of farmers, and I'm not sure what land tax breaks we get. Residential ground or a lot is taxed differently because of the building on it. Ag land is taxed at a very specific ag land rate, so everyone pays taxes on ag land too.
Do you think more people are becoming, as you say, realists, and that's why the referendum has a chance to pass this time? Because if it's failed 2 or 3 times, I know because of inflation, because of property taxes going through the roof, people leaving the state of Illinois because of it, nobody wants any other taxes right now. That's the biggest hurdle.
I totally agree. I mean, if the district didn't have to ask for it, they wouldn't. I don't think anyone wants to ask for it. My concern is if we don't do something that is a little bit longer term thinking than short term, we're going to go back to the taxpayers in 5 or 6 or 7 years and ask for more money. Because a $200 million school today, if we end up building that 10 years from now, is a $300 million school. Because what you hear is inflation, right? Building costs, 4% year in and year out, whatever it is. If we don't do it now, anyone that looks back and said that we don't need to build country trails, that we didn't need to build Prairie Knolls, that we didn't need to build the high school in 91 that we built, 10 years later goes, yeah, that we needed that. That was, not only did we need it, but now we have to add on to it. I mean, that's been the reality. You just have to look back at the last 40 years to say every time we were uncertain whether we needed to spend that money, we looked back 10 years and said, yeah, I'm glad we did that, and we probably should have done more and been more aggressive with it because we could have saved money long term. So I don't want to pay taxes. Nobody wants to pay more taxes. And that it is. I mean, if this gets voted down, it is what it is, and you go forward and figure out what is plan B. What is the next option? Because there is no, build a better district, which is, a couple of our community members that are against this referendum. Their option, their concept plan is going to cost 80 to 100 million. And it's going to be a shorter term time period, right? It's going to say spend 80 to 100 million. So we're certain for the next 5 to 8 years. And then let's readdress it in a couple years. And that's true. But if that growth comes that we think long term over the next 15 to 20 years comes, now we spent 80 to 100 million, plus we're going to spend 250, 300 million on a new high school in 8 to 10 years on top of that. Because remember, the bonds aren't paid off in 8 years. The bonds are paid off in 30.
Right.
So it becomes a more costly decision in the future than it is now. So I don't like either option. I'd love to be, if there's anyone out there listening that's a billionaire benefactor that wants to donate money to our school district so our taxpayers don't have to do it, I'd love it. I would love it.
8:55. So we have one caller, and then we have, then we're going to be pretty much out of time. So maybe one caller, and then one quick summary statement by you, if we have time for that. I call him the commander, American Legion Post 57 in Elgin, but he lives out that way. His son goes to Burlington Central, and he's Mark Smith. Good morning, Mark.
Hello. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey man, good.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling.
You good? Just calling in. I'm not calling in as a for or against. I'm just calling in with some information. So I do run a Facebook page called the Central 301 Families Open Forum, right, which gets into a lot of discussion on this whole issue. And I think some of the things I do see from both sides, and then some of the opposition too is like, hey, with some of these schools we have, with Country Trails where my son went, yes, and he wasn't immobile last year, and Prairie View, all these schools were, I think, intended to be expanded, right? They were built to be expanded, but they've never been expanded, right? So I think that's one of the issues. Like, why don't we have expansion on the schools that were made that way to built to be expanded for additional growth? And I think some of the things I see from the one group is just that, the opposition group is like, hey, the district is only offering this one option. Why is this one plan the only plan that's available? Why aren't there a couple different plans that have been proposed? And I just feel like overall, I think a lot of folks feel like the school district hasn't been transparent with a lot of things as well. So, yeah, again, not for or against. I don't want to make it like I'm calling it, but I'm just trying to add a little bit. So, continue the great discussion.
No, I appreciate it, Mark. I mean, I think those are great points. I think I've probably been personally to maybe 15 different meetings. I didn't know the current administration. Actually, it was Dr. Stern when they started this like 2 years ago, right? He was the superintendent, and I went to the original focus groups 2 years ago, like everyone else did, and they had a couple options, and it was like, is essentially when you look at it, it's like, what's the most expensive, longest term option, and then what are options B, C, and D that are more short term, more focused on the immediate needs, right? And it's the district's opinion, and I support that opinion, that long term is ultimately going to be the most fiscally responsible. Putting a new high school in, repurposing the junior high. I mean, there's issues, right, with our auditorium, our cafeteria, parking. There's lots of issues. That school was originally built for like 500 students. We now have 1,600 in it. It's been Frankensteined over 40 years. So I agree. I mean, people get frustrated, as do I, Mark, about the process sometimes. But I think they've been trying to do a good job getting this RSP report. They had a series of meetings this summer about it. So they're trying to get the word out. It's hard to get engagement, right? Active engagement.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're down to the final few seconds. If anybody wants to find out any more information, do you have any place they can go to do that? Or?
Yeah. I mean, we just, the supporters of the team always just say, go to the school district. The school district has worked hard over the last 2 years. They have a page to go for the referendum. Go there. They provide the information. This is not our plan. This is not my plan. I don't have a concept. I'm not an engineer or a builder. I've never spent time in administration. So listen to the experts. I would recommend, if people have questions, ask the school district for conversation. They reply to emails. They will meet people. They provide information out there. Go there and find that. That's what I would recommend. And again, if you have any questions, people can always find us on social media. I'm happy to chat with anyone. So
sounds great. Lucas, thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. This is the first ever, so thank you.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you back sometime.
I appreciate it.
Lucas Strom from Burlington Central's district talking about the need for the referendum. It's 8:59. Captain's Corner coming up next hour.
Now, visit ccis.edu.
Michael Brown, former Undersecretary of Homeland Security and Director of FEMA, is your new full-time host of The Weekend, which airs every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN. Each week on the popular 3-hour program, Brown offers listeners a fresh take on the weekend talk with his provocative insights into current events, politics, and culture. So late in the day on Saturday, make it a point to catch The Weekend with Michael Brown right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 9 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Brought to you by Linzette's. Elgin authorities are investigating a shooting incident that occurred on Tuesday evening at around 6 p.m. on Pegwood Drive. Officers arrived at the scene in the 1100 block after reports of gunfire were made. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported. The Elgin Police Department urging anyone with information to come forward and assist with the investigation. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Halle, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Halle's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl. In a move towards sustainable development, Kane County introducing its fourth public electric vehicle charger at the Kane County Division of Transportation on Burlington Road in Campton Hills. The move marks another milestone in the county's commitment to enhancing electric vehicle infrastructure.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers in October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Handing out food and drinks from an ice cream truck is off limits for marijuana-based businesses in Ohio, according to state regulators. Ohio's Division of Cannabis Control has proposed fines totaling $212,000 against 5 businesses for violating the state's advertising rules for marijuana sellers, the Akron Beacon Journal reported. Most of the fines involve promotions this summer ahead of beginning of recreational marijuana sales in the state. The largest proposed fine, $150,000, was issued to Greenleaf Apothecaries, which operates dispensaries in Akron, Canton, Cleveland, Columbus, and Wicklife. Well, you have to say the advertiser was spot on. Greedy people of Ohio can show up for ice cream while they pay for recreational marijuana. It's a shame it becomes illegal to have hot food and drinks on your ice cream trucks. Guys, the hard part is over. It's legal. Stop being lazy and just Uber Eats your food order. Maybe the truck can sign up to be on Uber Eats. They can drive your food to you and cut a side deal with you for your recreationals. Like Tariq from the TV show Ghost. I'm Darian Sims, and this is how I see it.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-111 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. DeJounte Murray had 14 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in his Pelicans debut. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14. Up next for the Bulls, they visit Milwaukee on Friday night.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers in October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle.
Everyone has a community to lean on. A neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. You've talked with your kids and shared clear expectations, but you're not with them every minute. Your community members, friends and relatives, teachers and coaches, faith leaders, and other important adults in your kids' lives can be your eyes, ears, and a supportive influence when you're not around, reinforcing your messages with your kids and alerting you to warning signs of underage drinking or other substance use. So talk with your kids about these issues and involve the members of your community to help keep your kids safe. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Rise and shine, Fox Valley listeners. It's time to kickstart your day with First Shift with Marky B on WRMN 1410 AM. From 6 to 9 a.m., join the chatter that gets you clued in with the latest buzz around town. Don't just sip on your coffee. Let Marky B brew your morning with the perfect mix of news, views, and moves. Dial us in or live stream at WRMN1410.com and make your mornings a whole lot brighter. WRMN 1410 AM. We're the voice of the Valley, and we're here to talk.
In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast right here on WRMN, 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Noory with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
.08 this morning. Welcome back to the First Shift. Busy show today. As we have talked with Senator Dan Ugaste, or State Representative Dan Ugaste this morning. Last half hour we talked about the Burlington Central referendum on the ballot right now. It's a busy season and a lot going on. And this hour we've got special guests with us today to talk about a big event coming to Elgin. Well, it's not an event, but it's an occurrence involving a missing in action Korean War vet who died on September the 22nd, 1950 at the age of 27. And his name is Heriberto Ortiz, a U.S. Army corporal who was declared missing in action in Korea back in 1950. And he is, his remains are coming back to Elgin later this afternoon. It's Mayor Dave Kaptain's show. It's Captain's Corner today, and so I figured, Mayor Kaptain, we would make this a part of the show because it's a big event for the city of Elgin, and it's a very honorable occasion that's taking place this weekend.
It sure is. We're bringing an Elgin resident home after 75 years, and I think it's a pretty significant event for our city, and bring him to his final resting place. And very, I think it was a pretty common story back at that time and back in World War II as well. The technology now allows us to identify the remains of people, and that was not possible for 75 years. And so I think that's something that science has done for us, but it does create some, I think it. I wouldn't call them family issues, but it shouldn't. I'm sure to Gloria Valle and the family, it came as a surprise. And how did you find out? I think that's the thing. Somebody had to contact you, and you didn't follow this for all that time. I'm sure the family kind of had moved on, and now all of a sudden this is brought back to you. It's a pleasant thing, but at the same time it brings back memories.
We have Gloria Valle in today. She's a niece of Heriberto Ortiz, U.S. Army Corporal. The Defense POWMIA Accounting Agency announced that he was 27 of Batesville, Texas, killed during the Korean War on September the 22nd of 1950 at the age of 27 years old, accounted for on August the 10th, 2023. So the mayor was asking you, Gloria, first of all, thank you for coming in today.
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. How did you find out? And yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
The way I found out, and first of all, I would like to thank everybody. I would like to thank the city of Elgin for all the support that we have gotten. I'd like to thank the military, you know. I got a call on August the 22nd of this year from a military guy. And I was told that they had identified my uncle. But like the military goes down and, you know, on the family and next in kin, my sister was in charge, was next in kin. But because of health issues, she said that she would pass the authority to me. So he called me and he says, well, I guess you're the one. So he came and met with us and explained everything from day one, which my uncle enlisted, to the last day. And we sat for 5 hours.
Oh.
5 hours. And he was explaining everything so well. And it was very, very emotional, not just for me, but for the family. And at the same time, it was like rest, you know. I was thinking about my grandma, my mother, my aunts. I used to witness them praying and crying, you know. At that time, like the mayor explained, there was no way of communication, you know. And now I get to witness all this. And I'm just grateful for that, you know. And I would like to thank everybody.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in today. And so you never had a chance to meet your uncle then, right?
No. I was only 5 years old when this happened, but his name was always mentioned at our home, and I always have his picture that my mom had. I have it in my living room, and but his name was always mentioned. You know, not too many memories, but my brother was this, my mom said, or my, you know, memories that they had.
Yeah.
You know, at that time.
Corporal Heriberto Ortiz joined the U.S. Army from Texas. He served with E Company, 2nd Battalion, 27th Infantry Regiment, 25th Infantry Division. He killed in action on September the 22nd, sometime during the battle to gain control. I can't even pronounce these cities. But his body could not be recovered at the time, and numerous searches failed to locate his remains. I mean, so you always had a picture.
Oh, yes.
But you probably never, after decades and decades and decades, it would always just be a picture, right?
Picture.
Yeah. City Councilwoman Rose Martinez is with us here today, too. And Rose, how did you get involved with all this? Thanks for being here, by the way.
Thank you for having me. I got involved because Miss Gloria called me, and I was surprised. She knows my godmother, Margaret, and I guess Miss Gloria was asking where would be a place to meet afterwards, after the service over at the cemetery. And so I had suggested, well, the American Legion would be an appropriate place.
Yeah.
And she knew my ties there. My godmother did, so she asked Miss Gloria. And then when Miss Gloria started telling me the story, it was just amazing. I couldn't believe it. I'm trying to think back at her grandmother, you know, losing her son. Think back about her mom losing her younger brother. And then they're gone now, and they never had that closure. And then here now they call Miss Gloria, and, you know, it's like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then it's like, he is a hero, and they tell her that they have these remains, and she thought it was appropriate because the biggest question is, if he's from Texas, why is he coming here?
Right.
Well, if anybody knows anything about Batesville probably in its heyday in the 90s was probably like a population of 1,300 people. And now it's like the last census is 747. the population.
So it's declined almost half the size it used to be.
Exactly. And it was more
small
like
in the
a
first
trading.
place.
It was. It's a trading place, and it's you blink and you miss it.
Yes.
So for Ms. Gloria, she was thinking that since her mother is here, that this would be the appropriate place. And so just to maneuver things, many things that she doesn't know. Her husband, Bob here, he's a Vietnam vet. And Bob is a very quiet guy and very supportive. But, this is a different situation because it's his wife, and an uncle that they always remember through a picture, through maybe a few conversations, but, the family moved on. And so now what we're trying to do is to welcome this soldier here to Elgin, and they're very kind to invite the community. And like today, I'm going to go to O'Hare Airport to receive the remains and then bring the soldier to Elgin. And what we're asking is on I-90, when you exit and you come on Dundee Avenue, coming on Dundee Avenue to Simmons Funeral Home, for those that don't know, it's on the corner of Dundee Avenue and Park Street. And we're hoping that people could gather on either side of the street and then welcome the remains of Corporal Ortiz. That's for today. We're guessing, it's kind of hard to say with traffic, but around 5:30, 5:45 around there. And that would be a way to bring him here until the wake on Sunday. On Sunday, the wake is 3 to 8.
Yeah.
And so we're asking the community to come and, if you want to pay respects. And then the following day, we have a program with what's going to happen for Monday. Monday, there's this organization that's called Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder, they had invited Miss Gloria and her husband and some other families that in the area, Fox Valley area, that have gone through this. And it was very interesting to hear their story as well.
Yes.
I think it was uncles, and one of them had, she said that her uncle went through the Baton March. And I don't know if you've ever heard of that. And it was just incredible to hear these stories too, where the gentleman was gone for 85 years and they're lucky to find somebody, that can go ahead and say, we'll accept these remains. So on Monday, there was also, I think I gave you a schedule of what's going to happen, because there will also be an escort from the funeral home to the church, St. Mary's Church, and then from St. Mary's Church, we'll be going over to the cemetery. And there will be a 21-gun salute for Corporal Ortiz. And then after that ceremony, we're inviting everybody to come to American Legion from 2 to 5.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful to Los Comales, which is a restaurant in town, and they're donating the food for that time, which I thought was very kind.
Yeah. So this is there's a lot of factors and a lot of parts in this whole weekend. It starts this afternoon, and the flight arrives at O'Hare Airport at about 2:30 this afternoon, and it's an American Airlines flight 2249. Actually, it arrives. The family arrives at 2:30. The flight arrives at 4 o'clock, basically, and then the procession from O'Hare gets the remains into Elgin between 5:30 and 5:45, we think, based on the traffic.
Correct.
And then the approximate arrival is at Simmons Madison at 6 o'clock today. So it'll still be daylight. Darkness starts to come, I guess, in the 6 o'clock hour right now. So if you have a chance to line yourself along Dundee Avenue this afternoon, we think around 5:30, that would be great. If that's kind of touch and go because this is a weeknight, it is that time of the day, then maybe, Rose, it would be also appropriate to do it on Monday, right?
Right.
On Monday.
Right. And this has happened before where they escort the body and there's a route where they would go from the funeral home to the church. And from the church, it would be to kind of do it, in this case, it would be on Liberty Street, which is considered 25.
Yeah.
And I think it's Ellis Middle School that's by there. And normally what happens, the kids from the school would come out. And we're asking too, because we shared this press release with people in the community, and the district said that they would put it on their website. 'Cause sometimes if the kids can't, maybe the parents can. And then on 25, going to Bluff City into the cemetery.
And I think we're going to have some nice weather days to be able to get out and show your support, maybe bring an American flag, right?
Right.
And so it 11 to 12 on, first of all, the visitation is Sunday afternoon from 3 until 8 over at Simmons Madison at 305 Park Street. That's the official address, 305 Park Street. And then again, a 1 hour on Monday morning from 11 until noon at Simmons Madison. And then they depart Simmons Madison at 12 and go from Park to Griffith South to Fulton West. Fulton West brings them to South Chapel Street, north to East Chicago Street, and then Chicago to Channing South. Head south on Channing to Laurel Street, then east to Liberty. Lots of little windy roads. It's a windy little path here, but once you finally get to Liberty, you're on your way to Bluff City, right?
Right, and I think that Griffith might be Gifford, South Gifford.
Oh, okay, Gifford.
Yeah.
So, Mary, you want to chime in? I'm sorry.
No. I think one thing that appropriate is that we should thank Joy and Dan Simmons for their Operation Love.
Yes.
That does work with veterans and helps and tears veterans that may not have family anymore or under unusual circumstances like this. That they've done this as a part of a community service since they've been here, and the community is very thankful for that they found a need. And Dan is a veteran, and I think they have a special place for veterans.
He understands that because he is a veteran.
Yes.
He's seen it. Yes.
I think that really they do a great job with this type of thing, and I think it's it's a tough time for the family, and even after somebody's been gone for this long a time, it's still emotional.
Oh yes.
And you can't get over that. I think that's part of it, and people that gets a chance for people and family members to relive some of their history, and I think that's a good thing too.
Sure. And with us also is Gloria Valle, the niece. Her uncle is Araverto. And you want to jump in here for a second, Gloria? What have you been thinking about everything we've been talking about here the last few minutes?
I'm just grateful for everything and for everybody that's got involved in this with my uncle, and I'm just grateful. And I cannot express my, words. I'm just grateful for everybody.
I see, and I'm looking at the Daily Herald story here, and it says, for 74 years, all Gloria knew about her Tío Beto.
Tío Beto.
Was from stories she heard from her family. What does Tío Beto mean?
Tío Beto is his nickname.
Okay.
His name is Heriberto, but we all call him Beto. And for us, Tío means uncle, and Beto was his nickname.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's that's how we knew him, Tío Beto.
Okay. So it's going to be a busy weekend, and it all culminates on Monday morning.
Correct.
And the actual Bluff City portion of it will be the burial from like 1:45 until 2 o'clock. So if there's any point in the weekend when you can make it to any of these events, the public's invited, right, Rose?
Absolutely.
Yeah. St. Mary's Funeral Mass from 12:30 until 1. The departure from Simmons Madison at noon. And let's see, 1:45 until 2 over at the Bluff City Cemetery. And then, as you mentioned, the American Legion after that from 2 until 5. And that's a public event where food's going to be provided.
Correct.
And the food provided by Los Camales. American Legion Post 57 is at 820 North Liberty Street, and everybody's invited to come out and I guess have a little reception at the tail end of all of these great festivities this weekend. Well, that's going to be really nice. And Rolling Thunder, what do you know about Rolling Thunder, Rose? I know I see here that they deal with POWMIA issues around, and they're a nonprofit organization, right? And they're going to be part of the whole procession from O'Hare?
Yes, they're the ones who organize the logistics part with trying to go ahead and have the family navigate through this. And they escort, they're the ones that do the escort and get in touch with the communities to make this possible. And they get the word out, and when they escort the body, I know that they contacted here locally, the police, the fire. They went ahead and contacted the Legion Riders to come out and help. And it's really something that is very, I don't know how to describe it, if there's any words to describe the feeling that you get when you have this escort go by with the remains of a hero like Corporal Ortiz. But when we met with them, it's just incredible the things that they think of, the Rolling Thunder, of the family, of how important it is, how solemn it is. To go ahead and get other families, you don't know. It's something. It's an experience that you hope nobody else goes through, but you don't know until you witness with other people. You kind of have something similar to that. But all the logistics that they go through is just incredible. The two gentlemen that we've been working with, the family, they just think of everything that they do. I don't know if you could add something else. Rolling Thunder.
Well, I was just, what I learned from them, that just they have a big heart and just for being veterans,
Yeah.
And they all work together and just trying to make it easy for the family, And it was to me, it was a blessing to meet them, I was very impressed.
Yeah. Well, and you brought some of your family here with you today.
My husband. In fact, we call him Beto also.
Beto also? Oh,
Yes.
Oh, just the Beto part, not the also part.
Well, Beto. His nickname is Beto. And my son, Eddie.
Okay. Well, they're not on camera because we don't have enough cameras to cover everybody, but thanks for coming in, guys, today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. And so, Elgin's a special community, Mayor Kaptain. We see these types of things happen in our town. It just so happens that Gloria lives here, and this is where the Corporal Ortiz is going to be buried. But it's still, it's nice to see, like you said, Simmons Madison and others really stepping up here in the community.
I think it's important. We talked about in the back before we came out that Elgin's getting to be a pretty big city, 115,000 people, but it's still a small town, too. And there's still connections and school connections and family connections, so we take great pride in that.
For sure. Well, it's 9:29 here at WRMN. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. Anything? Yeah, Rose?
I just wanted to say that to me, what I've gotten from all of this is how everybody came together on something so unexpectedly, and everybody that we went ahead and contacted or talked about this. That's what I love about Elgin, the community that it is, that came together to go ahead and make this effortless for the family.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're so grateful to, like the mayor said, to live in this community.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming in today. We appreciate having you. We look forward to talking more about the weekend and seeing how it all turns out. And maybe we can talk to you again after it's over with. See how you felt like it all went.
Thank you for having us.
Gloria Valle, and thanks, Valle, and thanks a lot, Rose, for making this all happen, too.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor Dave Kaptain is going to stay with us. More of Captain's Corner is on the way here on WRMN.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan.
Brought to you by Linzette's. After 45 years, closure has finally come to the family of Kathy Halle, who tragically disappeared in 1979. Advanced DNA technology has linked her case to Bruce Lindahl, a serial killer who died in 1981. Halle's remains were discovered in the Fox River weeks after her disappearance, but it wasn't until 2019 that a significant break in the case appeared, linking it to Lindahl. A 29-year-old Cook County resident, Darren Lipscomb, facing charges related to bank fraud. According to the Minooka Police Chief Justin Meyer, Lipscomb's legal troubles began after a routine traffic stop last month where he was caught executing an illegal U-turn. During the stop, police discovered checks worth over $3,000 in Lipscomb's possession, which were allegedly stolen from a Missouri bank.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers in October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Huge challenge on tap for number 20 Illinois football this Saturday afternoon when they visit number 1 Oregon. The Ducks are 7-0, the Illini 6-1. The Bears return to action with a road game this Sunday against the Commanders in the nation's capital, Chicago. 4-2 on the season, riding a 3-game winning streak, but they're 0-2 on the road this season. The Bulls opened up the NBA season last night, losing 123-111 at New Orleans. Brandon Ingram had 33 points. For the Bulls, Zach LaVine put up 27. Nikola Vukovic had 21 points along with 11 rebounds. The Bulls trailed for most of the second half and by as many as 16 points in the fourth. Jalen Smith scored 15 points for Chicago. Josh Giddey added 14.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive.
I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
October is ending, but I want to keep the fall fun going. So I shopped Kohl's lowest prices of the season. I saved 30% on top active brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. Then I got my kids some boots for under $22, scored 50% off Food Network baking must-haves, and earned Kohl's cash. Yeah, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Flex Styles offers in October 27th. Coupons do not apply to Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, and great news. Good news. Your coworker Kyle said bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive could save you money. Bad news. While saying this, Kyle was eating your clearly labeled lunch. Dumb news. Pizza near work costs $7 a slice, and it tastes like drywall covered in ketchup. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and enjoy more lunches far away from Kyle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. Fake sneakers, fake cosmetics, and even fake pills. Crooks are selling counterfeit versions of just about everything. Last year, billions of dollars worth of counterfeit products were sold in the U.S. Sure, it may seem like saving a few bucks on the things you want isn't a big deal, but counterfeits are usually made in unsafe conditions, potentially using hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you've paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals and may support child labor, drugs, and even gangs. Smells like big crime to me. So if you still think buying fake products is harmless, think again. And remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart, buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Discover the authentic taste of Italy at Mazziano's Pizza and Pastaria at Route 20 in Nestler in Elgin. There is one true fact of everyday life that never dulls: the simple pleasure of eating great Italian food. At Mazziano's, they'll make sure your dinner or lunch will be the best part of your day. Whether you have a taste for pizza or any of Mazziano's homemade Italian recipes like ravioli or lasagna, they can also cater your party. Enjoy it any way you like: delivery, carry out, or dine in. Visit Mazzianos.com.
Roll into Bolero in Algonquin or Roselle and wake up with a story to tell. Bolero is bowling, gaming, dining, and nightlife with a twist. Score a sweet deal every day of the week and save big by checking out the daily deals online. Team up with your friends and hit the lanes by forming your own social club. Clubs offer lively competition and laid-back fun for everyone. From beginners to pros, make new friends, bowl, and hang out at a happening place. Visit Bolero.com.
All right, we are back on Captain's Corner. Great to have Gloria Valle in this morning, the niece of Heriberto Ortiz, who's coming into town. His remains are today, and a lot of different events taking place throughout the course of the weekend, particularly on Sunday and Monday. Visitation on Sunday, and then Monday, the Mass at St. Mary's and Bluff City Cemetery, where the burial will take place. After a visitation finale, if you will, on Monday morning from 11 until noon. Mayor Dave Kaptain's back with us now for the second half of the show. And I don't know, Mayor, your thoughts on the first half of the show? Nice to see Gloria here and to be involved in this, and to have Heriberto Ortiz, originally from Batesville, Texas, coming to Elgin to be buried. And you're going to do a proclamation at the visitation on Monday morning, right?
Yes. This is listening to the family and Rose Martinez talk about the preparations for this. This is quite a project, to bring the remains back to Elgin and transport them around, and then we have a funeral to do as well, and then go for the final interment. There are some challenges there, and it's we welcome people to come out and just stand and come out in front of your house as they come by, and I think pay the last respects to this hero.
Yeah, and Ortiz's name is recorded on the corpse of the missing at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, along with others who remain missing from the Korean War. A rosette will be placed next to his name to signify that he has been accounted for. His name is also inscribed on the Korean War Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., which was updated in 2022 to include the names of the fallen. And so you could also come out and meet Gloria and kind of pay your final respects and have a little food on Monday afternoon at the American Legion, Post 57, between 2 and 5 in the afternoon after the burial. And it will be at the American Legion. As I mentioned, we want to thank Rolling Thunder Organization, Simmons-Madison, American Legion Post 57, Los Camales, Representative Anna Moeller and Rose Martinez and St. Mary's Catholic Church, and Robert Camacho. And so a lot of people to thank that have put together their efforts to make this happen over this upcoming weekend. And we talked about it, Mayor, during the break a little bit, whether someone is missing because they were a soldier that didn't come back, or whether they were maybe just a victim of a murder or something like that. Family, I think, is always... It's sad to bring up things that have happened in the past like that, but to bring closure can be a little bit of happiness for a family too, right?
I think so, yeah. And it's we talked to Gloria in the previous half hour, and it had to be quite a shock. She got a call from the military, and they spent some time with her to tell her what happened and how they had found out about it. And after all this time, for their family to have that brought back to them, it's kind of one thing. It's a blessing, but at the same time, it's probably kind of a shock. It's kind of a setback for you.
Yeah.
And you just, I think they seem like they're handling it well, and this whole process now is going to put some closure for them, for their family. 75 years, a long time.
No kidding. I mean, we talk about, I guess if you had a family member you lost for whatever reason, and you don't get closure on it, you think, well, 5, 10, 15 years, there's still a chance. But, 30, 40, 50, 60, in this case, 70 plus years, you pretty much don't think there's any chance at that point, right? So it's pretty amazing.
You would sure think it would be. Everybody had moved on, and the families moved on, and many of the people that certainly Private or Corporal Ortiz had grown up with have passed on, and to have the rest of the family have this is probably quite a big surprise for them.
Well, it's 847-931-1410 if you want to join the conversation here in the last 20 minutes with Elgin Mayor Dave Kaptain and myself. There was a city council meeting last night, and there were a few things that have been that were talked about last night that you mentioned that we could talk about a little bit today, right, Mayor?
Sure. We had two things I think are pretty important for the city that we started to have conversations on. One is the we're still in the process of working with the railroads and dealing with railroad traffic in Kansas City and Canadian Pacific about how we're going to handle the train traffic. And one of the things that we've got approval to do last night at the council meeting is I would call it something like a early warning system that will allow our police and fire to get advance notice of when trains are coming through Elgin. So they can make adjustments if they have an ambulance pickup or to transport a patient from downtown, for example. They'll know that a train is on its way, and they'll know if they need to go across town or they have to change their route. That'll give them a little bit of a early warning. And should be helpful for us to be able to do that. We're fortunate that we have fire stations on both sides of the Fox River and the railroad tracks. Other communities in part of our organization here, the 9 communities that are involved, some of them have their fire and police station on one side of the tracks and some residents on the other side. So it's extremely important for them to be able to time when these trains are coming through if they need to do some emergency response work. And that's going to be helpful for us. I think, if I remember correctly, the contract we have is going to go on for 2 or 3 years. And we will see how it works out, but it should make it a little bit better. And from our standpoint, Mayor, and from my standpoint, it makes the community a little bit safer.
Of course, are you still expecting? I mean, we had the whole saga about the Canadian. What is it? What do they call the Canadian?
Canadian the CP. KT, I think, something like that.
Canadian Pacific.
And Kansas City.
And the number of freight trains that could be on the rise.
Right.
But so far, it hasn't been all that noticeable. We're still expecting that this is going to increase as time goes on?
Yes, and they've tried to mitigate this a little bit by having some of the trains come through early in the morning before the traffics are. But as time goes on, they've acknowledged the fact that they're starting to ramp this up, and because of COVID and some slowing of the economy for a while, they didn't get the traffic that they anticipate, but it's going to be coming our way. And we started to look at, as part of the settlement with them and moving through the community, we started working now on the silent crossings. And they're going to convert all our rail crossings to, this is just the metro portion now. The portion that's Canadian Pacific up on the top of the hill, where it crosses Lawrence Avenue and State Street, is not involved with this. So it's a different rail system. But the silent crossings are starting. I believe they're working on one way out by Highland Avenue is the first one, and Coombs Road. The first one that'll be going in, and over time we'll be increasing the silent crossings all the way through the city. So it'll cut down on the number of train horns, And, people are saying, you hear from both, well, when there are not as many trains, well, you talk to some people, they think there's one every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But there are metro trains that go through as well. So because of the train horns and the train traffic, it's pretty busy.
Silent crossings. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, there instead of having the locomotive sound a horn, there'll be lights and strobe lights, and there'll be advance warning, so that'll be a bit more of a visual thing than auditory. So it'll be a switch for that, and it'll make it a much quieter downtown. It's supposed to be safer. One of the issues that we have is our rail tracks are so close to Route 31 that they have to be able to flash and tell people that there's a train at that crossing as they make the turn. So I think that's going to be a challenge here, and that's one of the reasons we've talked about that for, I think it goes back at least 10 years, that why that never was done here, and because the cost is so high to try to put these in and make sure that there's enough warning for people to be aware that the train's coming through. So these are changes that we're going to have, and we have part of what the city does and part of our settlement with the railroads.
Are you kind of a fan of the silent crossing idea, or do you like the horn idea? I mean, you definitely know when a train's coming when the horns go off, right? You certainly do. And I always laugh whenever we do we have a live interview or something downtown. I can almost guarantee you that a train is going to come through. Yeah. And it gets to be people. They have a legitimate complaint at the middle of the night that wakes them up, and especially if they work nights and there are more trains coming through during the daytime, I think it disturbs their sleep, and this will make it a little bit better for everybody. We'll take a phone call from Mayor Dave Kaptain, 847-931-1410. I do have someone on the line here, so let's see who we have for the mayor on this Captain's Corner show. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mayor. I know you're a busy man. I just wanted to run something across the air here for you. I'm calling about Jess Kendall. Do you know who that is?
I saw the article in the paper. Yes.
Glad you brought that up, 58 Mike. Yeah.
I'm mad as hell about it, and I can't do much about it. But I wonder what Mayor Johnson said to you when you called him. I know you did. If this would happen in Elgin here, I'm sure somebody would be on the phone with you. We got to stop this, and I mean stop this where we don't forget about it. Tomorrow we'll all forget about who he was. It just burns me that you can't go to a concert. What were they doing? Parking their car? They had to be close to the United Center.
Yeah, it sounds like they were walking to the concert, and they got robbed. I
don't understand. Where's all the cops at? Where's everybody at that's supposed to be there?
Well, I can tell you that, from a standpoint from a city, there's nothing that'll kill your business and kill your downtown like in Elgin when the crime rate is going up. If people can't feel safe, they won't go anymore.
We should be encouraged to stop people from going to the sports arenas and the concerts and all that, and maybe then they look at it and think twice about it, because this is wrong. Here we got a young boy that was in the prime of his life, and he's gone forever. And tomorrow we'll forget about him.
Yeah, and it's, sometimes young people not experienced going in there, and they put themselves in a position to be at risk, and they just don't realize that, they could maybe come from a city like Elgin and they don't give it a second thought, but in there you have to be aware and alert. And there's a conduct, and I think that it sounds like they gave them the money and gave them what they wanted, and it still ended up to become into a violent situation, and that probably was not necessary.
Of course not. I just thought I'd say something for Jess because no one else is. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for listening.
Take care. Yeah, 58 Mike. Yeah, we've had a couple of Elgin-involved tragedies in the last couple of weeks, Mayor Kaptain. That one that 58 Mike mentioned, Jess Kendall and some of his family and friends going to the United Center, and that's we've talked about that on our show a lot. How dangerous Chicago can be. You got a lot of great shows at the United Center, and a lot of teenagers and young people want to go see those artists, but they go to a part of the city of Chicago where people hang out looking for prey. And a lot of times when you're a suburban person going to the middle of the city and you're coming to town, and the people that live around there know that, they say, well, here comes some suburban people with money.
Sure.
They're easy targets, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and some of the people that are in there, that's their job. They're professional thieves, and that's what they do. And it's amazing. I could tell you a story. My wife and I went to Washington, D.C., and we left our hotel. We're going to take a short walk, and I don't think I went 50 feet. And some guy comes up and he says, geez, I locked my keys in my car. He said, could you give me $20? And I told my wife, I said, geez, I must have hay in my hair or something. I said, this guy spotted us right away. But that was his job. And police in there say, oh, sure, these guys, that's what they do. They look for tourists and people coming into town. And so just be aware. And that's one of the things about a town like the city of Elgin. We try to make sure that people are safe. We go through, I think it's worthy to say that we went through a nightmare on Chicago Street.
Yeah.
And in all the years we've been doing this, there have never been any real serious incidents in downtown. And boy, you talk about creating a situation where it would be people are wearing masks and costumes and things like that, and tightly packed. But people, it's just a little bit of a different environment here.
Yeah, it's nice that it turned out very safe. The weather was perfect. Another big crowd. Have you had any estimates on the number of people yet?
No, I'm sure they'll be getting that to us in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to me it was pretty similar.
Yeah.
To what we've had the last couple of years.
And we get it's just about at capacity, and people say, well, why don't we make it bigger? I don't know if there's a point where it then becomes counterproductive, and it's just we can't handle the crowds, and done a good job. The people have they've got a lot of practice at it, and our police know exactly what they're going to do and what our staff is going to do. So it makes it for a smoothly operating event.
Other big tragedy that took place was the homicide over on Cedar about 2 weeks ago with a gentleman that was allegedly murdered by a young man who a lot of people feel like should not have been out free. He's had a lot of issues. He's had a lot of recent arrests, and he was in the process of being given an extension where he was going to be back in court on October the 16th, and allegedly committed this homicide kind of randomly on October the 12th, 4 days before it happened. It's a situation that may be the result of mistakes made with the Pretrial Fairness Act and the Safety Act, right?
Right. And I think that some of these, with some people, there should be warning flags that go up about them. They have mental issues. They're not stable, and we have to provide them with extra care. And to put them back on the street is not the appropriate thing to do. I think that's important that we try to get some resolution to that as well. But it's been ongoing discussion, and I've had police officers tell me, I know it gets discouraging for them. They say, well, now we arrest somebody, take them to the station, and he said sometimes they're on their way home before I am.
Yeah.
And that's not, it's kind of depressing for the police. They're doing their job. But and some police officers say, we pick somebody up and they get caught for shoplifting, and it's just the tip of the iceberg for them. They may be involved in drugs and all kinds of other things, and but they're looking at this on the surface. I think this has got to work itself. Oh, it's like anything else when you put a new ordinance or a new law into effect. It's got to work through the bad parts of it as well.
9:54 with Mayor Dave Kaptain. Just a couple of minutes left on the show. You said one other thing from the city council meeting last night was the discussion of the bridge, right?
Right. Yeah. With this is the Kimball Street Bridge. We have some staff now has gotten moving forward on looking at the work to be done on Kimball Street, and they have some different ideas for different types of bridges, including a suspension-type bridge that looks like, I said, I don't want it to look like the Golden Gate and try to stuff that into the downtown, but a suspension-type bridge or a concrete-type bridge. What kind of bridge do we want to look at? Some have some decorative lights on there. There's going to be some changes in the traffic flow. There's a little bit of a curve there that they're going to take out when this bridge is put in to make it more of a straight shot to Lawrence Avenue. And the costs, well, obviously we start to look at that, and the 2 or 3 of the options they gave us are in the range of $21 million, all the way up to $78 million. So
it's a big range.
Yeah, it is big difference, and we start looking at that and the money that's available to do this work. But it's important for the city, and how do we want to go through the construction and the little bit that we, as they start to flesh this thing out and talk about the how this bridge is going to be constructed and the type of material, whether it's concrete or steel beams or how we're doing this, will determine how quickly we can get the job done. And the talk has been, if we close Kimball Street, they feel they could get the whole process done in 1 year. If we don't and we keep a lane open, it'll probably take 2 years. So those will be the things that we'll have, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of opportunities for people to look in the local news and to come down to probably an event down at the rec center. We'll take a look at the options for people so they get a feel for what it's going to look like.
9:56, we're down to our final 2 minutes, but one last thing I wanted to ask you about is, we can get more into this later, but I've seen that with the removal of the Carpentersville Dam, that it appears things have gotten pretty dry up there, like maybe more so than was expected. Does that impact what final decision might end up happening with the dams here in Elgin?
Well, I think it's going to give us a chance to look at what ours will look like if we take the Kimball Street Dam out. It'll give us a chance to see what that will get a little vision of what the river will look like there. I've been working with some of the residents out at Willow Lakes Estates, and they are seeing really low water levels, and there's some concerns there. This is a preview for them as what happens if the Kimball Street Dam would come out. And I will be talked to the city manager yesterday. We're going to get our senior staff, Mike Pubens and Laura Bertrand, together, and we're going to try to do a little program for them to talk about how it's going to impact their piece of Elgin. But I think that's the discussion that we're going to have, and I think it's this was I dealt with this for a long time in my previous career, and the water level is low here. But it's not at an all-time low. It's the flow. I asked for staff to provide me with the flows for the Fox River, and it's about 240 million gallons a day. And the low flow that they use as for regulatory purposes on the Fox River is 70 million gallons a day. So our flow is 4 or 5 times higher than what the all-time low flow is. So I think you have to put some perspective on things, and I think that's what I've been trying to do with our public meetings, is give people a little bit of a perspective of what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Mayor, for being in and joining us and joining the rest of the crew that came in with Rose Martinez today.
Happy to do this, and hope we have a great event. And for a solemn occasion, I hope the event goes smoothly on Monday, and we can welcome this war hero back to the United States, continental United States, and back home.
Mayor Dave Kaptain, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap up the first shift today. Coming up next is Matt. Stay tuned to WRMN.
We're local. We're part of the community.
For more information, visit them on the web at TBFirm.